Good evening, everybody, and welcome to El Dorado Bronco Baseball as we get ready for an exciting season of baseball from El Dorado. Kurt Caden here along with Avery Osen, and right now you're getting a look out of the webcam, albeit a view of the field. And just as we go on the air here, Avery, after a beautiful day here in South Central Kansas, the skies have opened up a little bit of rainfall falling right now.
And there is, but the good thing is here at McDonald's Stadium is most of the field is turf. So I believe actually all of the field is turf. So it should play little effect on the ball field, hopefully. But as you can see, all the fans kind of making their way under the pillars to avoid some rainfall.
And I guess as I look at our video stream right now, we just have it on the field, so you can't see the fans. But trust Avery, the fans have gotten into some sheltered areas here. Not a terribly heavy rain here, Avery, but enough that folks don't want to sit out and get dampened by it.
Well, and right now, it's with the sun not out, it maybe makes it a little chilly. There's a little wind. The wind has picked up, and as you said, the rain's not coming down too terribly hard, but nevertheless, there is rainfall coming from the sky.
No indication, as you can see, the umpires and the managers from both squads are down at home plate, so it's not bothering them much, and they don't seem to be giving any kind of indication that we won't be starting at our scheduled first pitch of 7 o'clock tonight. We do expect a national anthem coming up here as well, which is a tradition here at El Dorado, getting special guests to come and sing the national anthem.
And it should be a good one here. El Dorado hosting the Haysville Aviators tonight. And as Kurt said, in the first game for the Broncos this season, although Hayesville had a doubleheader yesterday against Valley Center, they were swept in the two-game series. So they come into this ball game 0-2. I'm sure they're really ready to get out there. But as you said, no indication of any delays here, but some rainfall still coming down.
And as we looked at radar just a short while ago, we noticed, Avery, of course you and I are not professional but avid weather watchers, not official meteorologists by any means, but we do study a lot of radar maps and whatnot, and it looked more like a passing shower, and that's been kind of the trend the last 2 days here in El Dorado. Just spotty storms will come up, they'll dump a little rain and then they pass on by, and we can only hope that's the case as we look off, towards the east, which is also an interesting thing with this weather pattern. We don't see a lot of systems roll east to west, but that's what was going on. In fact, I thought maybe your radar was goofy, but you look out to the east, you see some clouds, but more blue sky than anything. So I think right now we're just under one of those little cells.
And as we look behind us out the press box, it's actually coming down harder than it looks to appear on the field.
So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see and find out if we're going to be delayed or not. No word yet here. Again, Avery and I are entering our first year of covering El Dorado Bronco baseball. We do look forward to this opportunity. We've been able to cover a lot of games in the past, Avery. I've had 14 years of covering Winfield High School athletics, Southwestern College athletics. You yourself interning at Cake News in Wichita, a couple of years of play-by-play of Winfield Viking football and basketball. And so we can always get better, but we have an idea of what we're doing up here.
And come in as huge baseball fans. And, this is what we love to do. And we're happy to jump along with a very successful organization in the El Dorado Broncos. Just a year ago, finishing third in the NBC tournament, which is the one of the biggest tournaments, if not the biggest, in the summer for any college players coming up. And if you haven't heard of the NBC tournament, you need to make your way up there one of these summers in July, up to Lawrence Dumont Stadium, as there are some of the best players coming up in the collegiate ranks, making their way, and some of them even end up seeing the professional fields. And there's been some very notable names that not even necessarily baseball fans would have heard of. Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds. So this is a very good opportunity for us, and we are glad to be a part of it this season.
Yeah, big thanks to Vicki Bell and Doug Bell, who have welcome to Sin Warmly, and we're going to be learning right along the way, but very excited to be bringing you Bronco baseball. And hopefully, the link that we've set up is easy enough. Again, those of you watching obviously have already done so. Would love to get some feedback on how easy it was to access it. But all you have to do is go to youtube.com and search Kurt Caden, which is myself, and I may change that at some point to El Dorado Baseball. I think that might be a little easier, but for now, it's almost kind of a trial run as we try to figure this stuff out, Avery. But as I mean, you're younger, you're very computer savvy. I am not, but yet it was easy for me to go to YouTube, search Kurt Caden, see the link, click that, and hopefully folks are being able to listen and being able to watch. Now, the camera angles, of course, what you see with Royals games or any other Major League Baseball, you'll get angles at first base and third base and outfield. All we can provide is one camera from Avery's computer that is looking down on the field, but you can see pretty much all the field. So it's better than nothing, but it's not what you expect. Not what you usually get on a Major League Baseball night.
Don't go in thinking we're going to have 6 or 7 camera angles. We got this one, but hopefully between that and Kurt and I's voices, we can lead you through what's happening this season through El Dorado Broncos baseball. And I know the Facebook page is up and going. Just search El Dorado Broncos on Facebook, and we will be posting different links to how to access different games, including tonight and then again on Sunday night for their next home game when they host Denver.
Yeah, and from what we understand, as far as the Jayhawk League is going, all the teams are going to be trying to broadcast games, so we'll have all the home games, and we'll see if we can sprinkle in some road games there as well. But all the home games can be seen right here on the channel you're on this YouTube channel, which is totally free to us and to you. So we look forward to that. And again, feedback. If you want to email me, Caden Broadcasting, that's C-A-D-E-N Broadcasting at gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Looks like the starting lineups is it's kind of interesting. It looks like behind us, Avery, out the backside of the press box, still raining. But as I look out here in front of us, I don't know if it's necessarily raining, but the sun is out.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird looking behind us, and
it's like we're in two different places.
Yeah. Seeing two different things between from our front side and our back side. So as you're watching the El Dorado Broncos being announced for their starting lineups, and Kurt, you want to do the honors of
our first one. Let's get it off for the home squad. El Dorado Broncos leading off tonight for El Dorado's Levi Parker, second baseman. Batting second will be Sam Lane, the center fielder. In the third spot, left fielder Clayton Dalrymple. Batting fourth, playing right field, Jacob Spring. Behind the plate, batting fifth is Cameron Knight. Jonathan Schmitz will bat sixth and play first base. Trevor Ezell batting seventh, playing third base. Jeremy McGowan, the designated hitter tonight, batting eighth, and Morgan Oliver is at shortstop, and he'll bat ninth. We're going to honor America, so we'll let you listen in here at the stadium as we get ready for the playing of our national anthem. And tonight's national anthem. We just got done with the El Dorado lineup, and Avery, you want to tackle the Hayesville Aviators?
I would be happy
first
to.
nine.
For the Hayesville Aviators, batting first, the second baseman, Nick Green. Batting second, the right fielder, Evan Van Sherman. The designated hitter, batting third, Nate Clark. At third base, Kendall Whitman, batting fifth. Batting sixth, the first baseman, Jake Baxter. In left field, Carlson Weber. Batting seventh, how about shortstop, Cody Sharo. Batting eighth, the catcher, Jerry Lacayo. And capping it off for the batting lineup for the Aviators, in center field, Owen Fisk. Starting pitching tonight for Hayesville is Cody Shelton.
On the mound tonight for El Dorado, did not get this out, is number 38. That's Michael Hahn, a 6'4", 200-pound right-hander. He's out of the University of Nebraska, Kearney. El Dorado, on the video that you might be watching there, hopefully able to access, they have the black and orange tops and the white pants. Hayesville in the gray and then lighter gray with a little powder blue and their hats and down the side of their pants and on their shirts. Stadium here in El Dorado, McDonald Stadium. I've always enjoyed coming to this park. I think it's just a really nice layout, good look over. You can see other fields in the background. Great athletic facility here, and the sun shining brightly. The AstroTurf infield and the grass outfield. And after a high school baseball season, the grass out there looks pretty good, actually, for this time of year, I would say. First pitch from Hahn is low and away, and a ball one count as we're underway from the stadium here. And Nick Green gets plunked, so he'll trot down to first base. So a painful way to start out the season. I guess, like you said, they've had a couple exhibition games already, but Nick Green walks on down to first base, and that'll bring up Evan Van Summeren, the left fielder. Left-handed batter. Man on first, nobody out, just underway from El Dorado, and a foul right back. Looked like it was coming right back to you, Avery.
I was ready for it.
So a 0-1 count here to Van Summeren. Some of the youth showing up here to take in Bronco baseball here tonight. The 0-1 pitch, high and tight, 1-1. It was a little warm, a little muggy, but just before first pitch, actually, with that rain shower that came through, a little breeze, temperature seemed to cool off about 5 or 6 degrees, it seems like.
Other than the wet stands that the fans are coming to sit on. Temperature feels good, at least.
Yeah, and they're shaded, so they're not going to dry. I mean, it was just enough rain just to make it a little uncomfortable to sit down on. 2 balls and 1 strike to Van Summeren, and the 2-1. Hit up the middle. Nice job of hitting there as Green was on the move. He will go first to third. The throw comes back into second base, and Hayesville has something going here early on. Runners on first and third, and nobody out.
And as Nick Green was turning that base on third, he slid. And you also have to remember this infield is all turf. So not only is it wet, that turf puts a little bit more race whenever you're sliding. And so Nick Green goes a little farther than he expected on that slide to third base.
So nobody down. Some trouble here early on for Mike Hahn. And his first pitch to the designated hitter, Nate Clark, is outside. Ball 1. Foul ball right back to the screen by Mr. Clark, and that'll even the count at 1-1. Top of the first inning, Hayesville and El Dorado. Runners at the corners with nobody out. Hahn set, and the pitch. Nice. Ooh. Change of speed there from Hahn, and way out in front was Clark, and it's 1-2. Shadows creeping in here early on. 7 o'clock start, which is the norm here for the El Dorado Broncos. The 1-2 just outside. Nice pick there by catcher Cameron Knight. And that'll even the count at 2-2. Nobody down here, top of the first inning. Hahn with a look over at first. The pitch just off the corner, and it's full now for Nate Clark. Clark, the designated hitter, playing his college ball at Morningside up in Sioux City, Iowa. So a big pitch here early on for Hahn. 3-2. He'll throw it back to first, and back safely is Van Sumeren. Mike Hahn calls Fremont, Nebraska home. 3-2 to the designated hitter. And just off the play. Boy, Hahn wanted it, didn't get it. Just drifted off the outside corner. So a base on balls to Nate Clark. So Kendall Whitman, the number 4 hitter. The first 3 have reached here for Hayesville. And Dave, we're looking at the scores for Hayesville, their first 2 games against Valley Center. Offense seemed to be a bit of an issue for them.
Yeah, this is going to probably give them confidence here. First 3 guys on.
Hahn delivers, and a little behind that one was Kendall Whitman. Fouled it back, straight back, and it's 0-1. Nick Green got hit by a pitch, went first to third on a base hit by Van Sumeren, and Nate Clark has walked to load the bases. No score, top of the first inning. The Hayesville Aviators have come to El Dorado and gotten something going here early on. Hahn's pitch, again, fouled straight back, and so Hahn is in front 0-2. Pitch coming here from Hahn. He sets and comes home, and nice curveball. Actually, that might have been a slider. It looked like it dove kind of down on Whitman, and he strikes out. So a big out there, Avery, because now that double play, the infielders were playing back anyway, but now a chance to get a 6-4-3 and get out of this inning without any damage done. This is a curveball, and it goes right over the outside corner, and strike 1 to Jake Baxter. Baxter, the first baseman. Bases loaded for Hayesville. 1 down, top of inning number 1. The 0-1, another curve, and just missed. 1-1 here to Jake Baxter, starting first baseman for Hayesville. And he sends one up the middle. There's it to the shortstop. 6-3, double play. And what a way to get out of trouble. Just as we diagnosed, Avery. What a great job by Hahn to get out of that, as Baxter looked like he hit that off the handle, and a great job there by Morgan Oliver. Let it bounce, calmly picked it out of the air, touched second, threw it over to first, and a nice 6-3 double play.
He played that ball well. You're kind of almost expecting a slide with the ball in the wet turf. He was expecting the ball to hit the ground a little harder, and he picked it off soft hands and threw it to first. And a good play there from first baseman Smirks, who not a perfect throw, but it had to extend the leg a little bit to make sure he was still on the base. And El Dorado, good momentum there. Couldn't have started the inning any worse, letting the first 3 guys on, but a strikeout and a double play, and they get right out of it.
I imagine Coach Gerwick, that's not really the way he'd like to get things started this year. Let's load the bases with nobody out. But certainly good gut check time there by Hahn, and he came through with the deliveries. He got the strikeout, like you said, and then the inning double play. So that's got to give a manager a lot of confidence.
Yeah, you would think so. Now ready to see some Broncos bats here.
Of course, being our first night here, generally we'll try to have some spots or something playing in between innings. We don't have anything, so if you see some pauses here during, certainly during any pitching changes or during the every half inning, we're still here. We'll just let you, at least you can sit back and enjoy the view from wherever you might be. We do encourage you to drop us an email. Our email address is Caden Broadcasting, C-A-D-E-N, broadcasting @gmail.com. We would Be delighted to hear from you. Hear any good or bad comments you might have. Let us know where you're listening from, what you like, what we can do better, and we will try to accommodate you. So El Dorado, this is always an exciting time. It's opening night. It's been a beautiful day. Got a little rain in here. It cooled things off. Here they are. They got out of a bases-loaded jam, and now it's their first time going to the plate, and I'm sure Levi Parker is excited to get up there.
Seen some youngsters getting into the ballpark, too, and looks like they just got done with practice from across the way.
Parker squares, and it's going to be called a strike there. Cody Shelton, is that right, David? Cody Shelton pitching for Haysville. Starts Parker off with a strike. The curveball on the 0-1 just did catch the corner. Late action there from Shelton. So an 0-2 hole for Levi Parker. And Shelton, not messing around, comes right up and in, and Parker able to foul it off. 0-2 to Levi Parker, starting second baseman out of Emporia State. Well, the catcher Lakeo there for Haysville set up right on the outside corner and just off the plate. Good waist pitch there by Shelton. 1-2 to Parker, and the pitch low and in. That'll bring it to 2-2. No score, bottom of the first inning. Beautiful blue sky above now here in El Dorado, and an off-speed pitch just hung up there, and Parker was out in front and able to fight it off. Stay alive. On deck is Sam Lane, starting center fielder. So a 2-2 count here to Parker. And the pitch, and he'll be rung up. A strikeout looking for Levi Parker as Shelton painted the inside. So here comes Sam Lane. Lane batting number 2, starting center fielder. 6 foot, 170-pound kid, good frame. Out of the University of Texas at Tyler. Takes ball 1. Shelton, the delivery, and swing and a miss from Lane. Cody Shelton winds and deals, and boy, Shelton really working on each side of the plate. Saw maybe one mistake that kind of went over the middle, but he has really been on the edges. That time a little too far outside, and it's ball 2. 2-1, and here's a swing and a miss on the 2-1. That'll even it up at 2-2. Lane, a right-handed batter against the right-handed pitching Cody Shelton. Shelton a long look in, and Lane decides to step out. The 2-2. And nice job reaching to that outside corner by Lane and fouling that off. By the way, Haysville in that first inning, no runs, 1 hit, no errors, and they left 2 men on base. Looked like it could be a whole lot worse. The 2-2 is outside and ball 3. Haysville had a hit batsman, a single, and a walk before Pond really buckled down. Again on the outside corner, and again just too close for Lane to take, and he fights it off and fouls it out into the parking lot. Full count here. Good battle between Lane and Shelton. Bottom of the first inning, no score here with Haysville and El Dorado. The 3-2 is on the way, and Lane makes Shelton work there, and he earns himself a walk, a base on balls. Good at bat there by Sam Lane. Fought off some tough pitches, and this was a real nuisance there to Shelton. So that'll bring up Clay Dalrymple. 6'2", 190-pound right-handed batter from Kansas State University. Man on first with one down. That's Sam Lane. And the pitch, again, slider there from Shelton, way outside on Dalrymple, 1-0. Dalrymple, watching him get in that box, boy, he puts that right foot right on the back line, and he is right on that inside line to the plate just about. He really has good plate coverage where he's at there. There's a check on Lane, and he's back safely. 1-0 to Clay Dalrymple. Shelton a long look in, quick throw over to first, and Lane is back safe. Lane again getting out to that first cut there. Shelton sets, long look in, and he comes home. And Lane stealing. Here's a bounce throw to second, and it actually hits Lane, and it rolls in front of him. It's a stolen base for Sam Lane. And an early indication, Avery, we see Sam Lane stealing on a 1-0 pitch here in the bottom of the first. Manager Gerwick with some faith in his running game early on.
Yeah, and good steal there. He had it by quite a bit on that stolen base there by Sam Lane.
So Dalrymple with a runner in scoring position, and the pitch, and Dalrymple had a good look there, fouls it off. And that'll make the count 2 balls and 1 strike. Kurt Caden and Avery Olsen here from McDonald Stadium in El Dorado. Our debut broadcast here with the El Dorado Broncos. Clay Dalrymple in the box. He's ahead at 2-1. Cody Shelton deals, and Dalrymple a line drive to shortstop, gets past the shortstop. Lane rounds third. They'll wind him home. Here's a play at the plate. Safe! As Lane slides over the bat there, Avery, and what a job by Dalrymple to drive him in. And Lane, I'll tell you what, good aggressive base running from El Dorado here early on.
And a play at the plate there, but like you said, Lane, a great slide into home plate right over the bat, and it's 1-0 El Dorado.
That'll bring up Jacob Spring, the right fielder. After Parker led off the lefty, we've seen 3 straight right-handed bats here from El Dorado. Dalrymple at first, and he has a bigger lead than Lane, and he's off and running. A wild pitch gets past the catcher. Dalrymple sliding into second, but give him a stolen base on that one. So Lane and Dalrymple each gathering stolen bases here early on, and I don't know, something maybe the El Dorado coaching staff saw in warm-ups or what, but or just great faith in their running game. But they are getting leads and getting out and testing, putting pressure on the defense here for Hayesville. A 1-0 Bronco lead. Spring, the right fielder, at the plate, and he's ahead 1-0. Dalrymple dancing around out at second, and a swing and a miss from Spring. He had a good cut. So it's a 1-1 count. Fans continuing to trickle in here on opening night. Brief shower, but again, just looks very nice as we look off to the east here. Dalrymple out at second. 1-1 pitch coming up to Spring. And here it comes. And Spring off the fist to third base. And it is caught over there by Kendall Whitman. So the second out of the inning for El Dorado. Here comes Cameron Knight. And Knight, the catcher, played his college ball right here, Avery, at Butler County. So
very familiar with this stadium.
Absolutely. 2 down, man on second base. It's Dalrymple. The pitch, and that'll get him in the middle of the back. So each pitcher has plunked a batter here in inning number 1. Dalrymple will remain at second. Knight trots down to first. That'll bring up the first baseman, Jonathan Schmitz. So Schmitz will see if he can do some damage here. Hometown of College Station, Texas. First pitch to Schmitz is a strike. It's 0-1. Cody Shelton on the hill for Haysville. Is that a rough go here in the first inning as the El Dorado Broncos have used their running game and aggressive base running to grab a 1-0 lead here in the bottom of the first inning. The pitch, and that caught the corner, and it'll be strike 2 on Schmitz. 1 in, 2 on, and 2 down here in the bottom of the first. 1-0 El Dorado. Schmitz will have to battle back in an 0-2 count. Shelton sets and deals. And that one sails outside. 1-2 to Schmitz. Trevor Rizal would be next. Schmitz from Tarleton University. The 1-2. And that was close. But called a ball. It's ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Deuces are wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 out. Dalrymple at second. Knight over at first. Schmitz at the plate and a 2-2 count, and he'll call time. Shelton's really had to work here. Started out nice, striking out Parker, but walked Sam Lane, who stole second and scored on Dalrymple's single. Then Dalrymple stole second. Spring popped out to third. Knight was hit by a pitch, and here we have Schmitz at 2-2. Schmitz up the middle. The diving stop by the shortstop. What a play, but they're going to call him safe. Here's a play at the plate, and Dalrymple slides in safely. Boy, a dynamic effort out at shortstop there by Cody Sherrow. Nearly made the highlight reel, but I'm not sure if Nick Green bobbled that ball. It looked like from here the ball was there in time, but I'm not sure if it was bobbled or what. And Dalrymple just kept on coming, and he scores to make it 2-0.
Well, Nick Green's foot was not on the bag, and so that was the main reason why it was safe. And then I don't think Green was expecting Dalrymple to go home, and turned around, and Dalrymple was already halfway to home plate. Interesting to note here, last game when Hayesville went up against Valley Center, during that whole game they had 1 walk. They already have 2, a walk and a hit by pitch in this first inning. And also in that game they had two people steal bases, and they've already had 2 in this first inning from El Dorado. So very aggressive play here from the Broncos, and I'm sure they had that in their game plan going again.
Well, El Dorado coming into this season certainly on a high, finishing 3rd in the NBC World Series, just lost out to Wellington before Wellington then lost out in the championship game. But, a real successful season last year, and here they are ready to get it back into high gear here on opening night. A 2-0 El Dorado lead. Well, Schmitz should be credited with a single there. It was a great effort there from Sherrow. But I don't believe he would get credited for an RBI. I think it was more of a fielder's choice at that point. Here's a foul ball straight back and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike on Trevor Rizal, the third baseman. Runners on first and second. Rizal, left-handed batter, waits, and here's the pitch from Shelton, and it's skied straight up in the air. The shortstop, Sherrow, calls it and makes the catch, and that's the end of the inning. But not a bad start for El Dorado. They scored 2 runs on 2 hits. 2 men left on base. Our score after 1 inning of play. El Dorado 2, Hayesville 0. We'll have more play-by-play here in a moment. You're listening to El Dorado Bronco Baseball. And welcome back, Kurt Caden, along with Avery Osen here from El Dorado. 7 men to the plate for the first inning for the Broncos, and they scored 2 times, 2 runs on 2 hits for El Dorado. And the leadoff man for Hayesville delivers a nice, sharp single. That's Carlson Weber. And a good start for Hayesville here in the top of the second inning. That'll bring up Cody Sherrill. Sherrill from playing his college ball at South Dakota State University. He is the shortstop, ended the last inning with a pop-up catch. Really made a diving effort and nearly saved a run for his pitcher Shelton in the bottom of the first inning. First pitch is a strike from Michael Hahn. 0-1 with Weber over at first base. And the pitch tries the outside, and it's just off the plate. It'll be 1-1. Hahn wiggled out of trouble in the first inning. Hayesville loaded the bases. Had nobody out, bases loaded, but a strikeout and a double play got Hahn out of big-time trouble in the first. El Dorado scores 2 in the bottom of the first, and they lead this one 2-0. Sherrill with a 1-1 count. Quick delivery from Hahn is low. Ball 2. 2 balls, 1 strike. Nice crowd has filed in here. Again, most of the fans are really closer to us here in the press box because of the early rain we had just before first pitch. Still some puddles. It was just certainly not a downpour, but just enough to get everything kind of wet. But folks here know their Bronco baseball. They've brought their seat backs and whatnot. Here's a ground ball to second base. No way to get 2, so going over to first base is Levi Parker. He'll get 1 out. Advancing to second is Weber. As that play goes 4-3. That'll bring up the catcher, Jerry Lacayo. Lacayo, not as familiar as this field as we mentioned with Knight, the catcher for El Dorado, but Lacayo played at Dodge City. So Dodge City in Butler County play during the spring in junior college baseball. First pitch from Hahn is outside. Owen Fisk will be the next batter. He stands in the on-deck circle for Hayesville. The number 8 batter, Lacayo. Right-handed batter. And the pitch, and Lacayo is just behind as he sends it down to over the bullpen area and into the parking lot. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Knight will go out and have a shot with Michael Hahn. It's the 20th pitch in the game thrown by Hahn. And Cody Shelton for the Aviators is already at 30 through the first inning. Ooh. I wasn't keeping track of the fouls, so I lost track of the pitch count. I'm glad you've got that. A 30-pitch inning, huh? That does not usually bode well for lasting very long in a game. 1 ball and 1 strike here. And he got Lacayo really fishing on the outside there. Strike 2. Nice pitch there from Hahn. Looked like he went off speed. Down at second base, Carlson Weber led off the second inning with a single. Top of the second, 2-0. El Dorado. And the pitch just a bit high. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Jerry Lacayo, the catcher for the Aviators. My mom has brought a whole bunch of bats into it's not bat night, is it?
I don't think that's a promotion tonight.
The 2-2. And that one's going to be bounced over to second base. And again, Parker with his momentum going towards first. Just an easy underhand toss over to Schmitz for the second out of the inning. Moving on over to third base is Weber. But a real nice job here by Hahn after a sharp single by Weber to lead off the inning. 2 fairly innocent taps to Levi Parker at second base. And he's an out away here from getting out of, again, trouble. Leadoff man getting on base for Hayesville. First pitch to the left-handed batter, Owen Fisk, is a strike, 0-1. Fisk, a lefty, starting center fielder, bats number 9 for the Aviators. The 0-1, and again on that outside corner, and again it's a strike. Hahn with an 0-2 count, and he is really painting the outside, and a great job by Knight of framing those balls on that outside corner. The 0-2, will they come back outside? They will. This time about a foot outside, and ball 1-2 for Owen Fisk. Owen Fisk playing at Samford. Not Stanford, but Samford. And again to the outside. That one a little closer than the ball 1 pitch, but it's going to be called a ball. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2-0 El Dorado. And the pitch from Hahn, and he comes back over the middle, a little off speed, but high, and Owen Fisk has worked it full. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Nick Green hopes to get a chance here in the second. He is waiting in the on-deck circle. The 3-2 fouled off sharply over the El Dorado dugout down the third base line. So we'll do it again. Michael Hahn. Hayesville getting a runner on third for the second straight inning. But can they cash it in? The 3-2 down the third base line. And what a play by Fisk. What a great hit down the line. Fisk rounds first, and he will stay there. A 2-out, 2-strike RBI single for Owen Fisk. It's a nice job by Fisk. Hahn was having success on that outside corner, and Fisk, being a nice disciplined batter, was able to figure out what Hahn wanted to do, and he went outside and was able to slap it down the third base line. There's a ball that eludes Knight. We'll probably call that a pass ball. It hit the tail. It was a tough one. It's always tough. But a pass ball there on Knight. So it's 2-1, El Dorado. And Fisk now down at second base after the pass ball. 1 ball, no strikes to Nick Green, who saw 1 pitch, actually I guess 2 pitches. The first pitch was a ball in his first at bat, and then the second one found him in the, well, I don't want to say the middle of the back, but it hit him on the back side and sent him to first base to start the inning for Hayesville in the first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hahn, curveball dives too low, ball 2. 2 balls and 1 strike for Nick Green. Green from Bradley University. The 2-1 hits it up the middle, and there's the shortstop with the play. That's Morgan Oliver over to Schmitz, and Green is retired. So in the inning for Hayesville, they score 1 run on 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 man left on base. We go to the bottom of the second inning. El Dorado 2, Hayesville 1. And welcome back here to McDonald Stadium. Kurt Caden and Avery Osen with El Dorado Bronco Baseball. We hope, we noticed we've got some people watching. Again, this is going through YouTube and Google Hangouts was new for me. But it seemed like to me, Avery, I know there's a lot of ways you can go. This was a way we could go for the least amount of money and still make it fairly, I think, easy to access for folks.
Yeah, just type in Kurt Caden whenever you're looking for a game as of right now. Look up that, and right there you should find all the Broncos games for this year.
We will try to, after each game, or each game, what the nice thing is the first batter here is Jeremy McGowan. The games will be archived, and so you can watch and listen to them back. which I know is always important to parents who are watching their sons out here. And so hopefully this is an easy way. We'll post links of future games. Each time one game's done, we'll be able to post a link for the next game that we'll be broadcasting. We'll be covering all the home games here for El Dorado. So again, if you like what you see, if it's been easy or if it's been a real pain, we'd love to hear from you. cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com. McGowan with a 3-1 count. Cody Shelton back on the hill for Hayesville, and the 3-1 is fought off and fouled out by McGowan. McGowan, the designated hitter here tonight. .6'3", 225-pounder, big kid down there. Full count, and the pitch, and he went high on him, and McGowan couldn't catch up. That's a swinging strikeout for Jeremy McGowan. That'll bring up Morgan Oliver. Parker will follow Oliver here. One down in the bottom of the second inning. El Dorado 2 and Hayesville 1. Broncos with 2 runs and 2 hits in that first inning. El Dorado right now Hayesville with 1 run and 3 hits through the first 2. El Dorado with 2 runs and 2 hits in inning number 1. The ninth place hitter, the shortstop, Morgan Oliver, and Shelton comes right down the middle with strike 1. Morgan Oliver, 6'1", 205-pounder, Central Michigan. They're the Chippewas, right? The Chippewas. Quickly in a hole, 0-2 is Oliver. He wears number 10 for the black and orange of the Broncos. The 0-2, and Oliver sprays it down the right field line, but foul. El Dorado will be in the vintage game here tomorrow night. We will not be covering that. We'll be back on the air Sunday night when Denver comes in for the first of 2. Sunday and Monday night with Denver. And we'll have both games here. Shelton on the 0-2 pitch inside, and it'll be it's 1-2. We like how both pitchers, both Hahn and Shelton, boy, they're working. They're trying to work the corners. They're working inside. They're working outside. They're not just feeding it down the middle. Oliver fights off the 2-strike pitch. Sprays went out in the parking lot. 2-1 Broncos. One and 2 to Morgan Oliver. One down here in the bottom of the second inning. And the pitch. And Oliver able to check down to first base. And the umpire says, no, he did not go. And we don't have the greatest angle as far as check swings up here, but it didn't appear from up here that he went. Two balls and 2 strikes to Morgan Oliver. Shelton winds and deals the pitch, and Oliver up the middle. It's fielded by Whitman. He'll fire it over to first base, and an easy play. Check that. That was Sherrill, Cody Sherrill, the shortstop, making the play for Hayesville. So to the top of the order for Levi Parker, and Parker missed out on all the fun in the first inning. He was struck out by Shelton. In fact, the only, we'll have 2 strikeouts now for Cody Shelton, but Parker was the first one, and he'll step into that left-hander's batter's box, and the pitch with 2 down here in the bottom of the second, and it's a strike. Real nice job here by Cody Shelton after a rough first inning. Shelton has come back and been tough here in the second. The 0-1. And Parker lays down a bunt down the third base line. Shelton fields, fires to first. Nice play and got him out. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on base. 2 innings in the books from El Dorado. Our score, Broncos 2, Aviators 1. More play-by-play in just a moment. This is the El Dorado Baseball Bronco Network. And welcome back here to El Dorado with 2 innings in the books, and El Dorado leading Hayesville 2-1. And we'll send over the play-by-play duties over to my partner, Avery Ocean.
Coming up to the plate for Hayesville this inning, the 2-3-4 batters, Evan Van Scheren. Number 2 batter, Nate Clark, and the 3rd batter will be Kendall Whitman, are the guaranteed batters this inning. First pitch for Michael Hahn is a ball just low and outside. Pitch number 2 from him this inning is a strike on the outside corner, 1-1 to Van Summeren. And Summeren hits a ball right over the shortstop's head, and it's just past the outstretched glove of Oliver, and a base hit to start off this inning for Van Summeren. Now up to the plate, designated hitter number 2, Nate Clark, with the man on first base.
Tell you what, I thought Oliver hit. He really tracked that well, and just as he reached it, just hit off the tip of his glove and unable to make the catch.
First pitch to Clark is inside for a ball. On fires one over to first base. Base runner doesn't even have to slide into the plate, man. Summeren didn't have too terribly big of a lead there. 1-0 pitch is just foul down the first base line.
Just foul, Avery. That I don't know how that missed the base, but it was the home plate umpire's call, and it looked like he got the right call there. But Clark really gave the Broncos a little bit of a scare there.
That gets Pat Smurs there at first base. It's at least second and third, no out. Instead, just a loud foul ball. 1-1 pitch from Hahn. It is outside on the slider for ball 2. 2-1 Broncos here in the top of the 3rd inning. Man on first base. 2-1 pitch from Hahn. Is low. And a ball. Michael Hahn from the University of Nebraska Kearney, as Nate Clark finds a gap in between first and second base. And there are guys on first and second, no out for Kendall Whitman. Whitman has found himself almost in this identical position in the first inning, as there was guys on first, second, and third base with no out. But now, guys on first and second for him. Hahn's right-handed pitch is bunted down the third base line. Ezel has it, and it's thrown past the first baseman, Smurs, and that'll load the bases. As Van Summeren thought about running home there, but the third base coach thought better of it and didn't want to make that first out at home base.
And I think you give Whitman there a sacrifice and an error on the third baseman, Ezel. Great job by Levi Parker there, Avery, to be backing up first base. Otherwise, that ball's way in the bullpen, and both runners score.
Yep, that's a heads-up play from him. First pitch from Hahn is a strike to Jake Baxter, number 13. But Hahn has seen himself in this position earlier in this game. We'll see if he can get himself out of it again, and a good little changeup there from him for strike two.
Avery, if you remember, it was Baxter who grounded into the 6 unassisted 3 double play to end the first inning.
Probably wanting a little redemption here off his bat. A slow tapper to the catcher, and he's going to field it, but not in time to get back to home plate. And this game is tied up at 2.
And there's really no error there. That may be one of the shortest single or run driving in single that I've ever seen.
And Knight didn't really have a choice there. He grabbed the ball and just, it was kind of one of those slow, like you said, it was a slow hit. And so by the time he grabbed it, guy on third base, that's a good lead there from Summerin, and gets himself home as we have a mound visit, and it's a good time to manager for the Broncos, Chad Gerwick, out there.
The only thing I think Knight could have done there, he's not going to have any chance to get the ball and come back, so either his play's got to be to first or the pitcher has to come charging in and try to scoop it to Knight, who might be standing on home. Really not a lot of options on that play. Here we are on night number 1, so trying to work out some communication things there, but that's one of those you don't really practice too much on a little spinning topper just in front of the plate.
I'm sure maybe one of those things, and we see this team in about a month, they maybe can make that play, but like you said, all these players coming from different colleges and whatnot, this is their first game to play together. As Hahn's first pitch to Weber is ball, and then Weber finds the other side of the fence. A grand slam for Carlson Weber. And just like that, this game is 6-2 in favor of the Aviators.
No doubter there, Avery. Boy, Hahn went bases loaded just trying to get out in front, and Weber was sitting dead red, and boy, he hit a line drive. That one didn't get a whole lot higher than the fence out there, but it cleared it by plenty.
Plenty there, and all the right fielder had to do there was look up and turn around, and that ball was gone.
Well, 1 RBI on a ball that was hit maybe a foot in front of home plate, and then 4 RBIs on a ball that was hit probably a good 325 feet.
And that'll be the night for Michael Hahn. Not the outing he wanted to start off this year with the El Dorado Broncos. 6 earned in 2 innings. And we will see who's coming in here for the Broncos.
I thought it might be Joe Kennedy out of Augusta. Is that number 14?
Yes, it is.
Joe Kennedy, 6'2", 155-pound right-hander from Augusta, just down the road, playing his college ball at Newman University.
And he'll come in practically a new inning, no outs here, no one on base. And he'll pitch to Cody Sharo when play resumes.
Free tickets for $1, 10 for $2. All of the boys have to go and talk to you. Get to know these players, kind of spend their time to service on the radio. Maybe place to hear me, you want to hear all my tickets.
So stepping up to the plate is number 8, the shortstop Cody Sharo. Bases are empty for Joe Kennedy. his first pitch of this game is a ball. Kind of an interesting release from him, almost a sidearm, almost.
He starts in the stretch and he comes really, sidearm delivery, which for a right-handed hitter, that ball's really coming right at him and diving away. So certainly an interesting delivery here from Kennedy, and he's even the count there at 2-2. Avery, we can close the book on Hahn. He goes 2+ innings, 7 hits, 6 runs, all earned. He had 1 strikeout, and he walked 1 man, and he hit a batter here tonight.
As we get a ground ball to Azell, and he will throw out Charo at first base. Recorded for a 5-3 there in the first out of this top of the 3rd inning. Jerry Lacayo, the catcher, steps up to the plate with his team in the lead 6-2. And he'll find the strike zone and 0-1 count. Kennedy's pitch is outside on the curveball. Third pitch of this at bat is an attempted bunt from Lacayo, and it is foul on the right side of the infield. Evens the count at 2-2. Excuse me, 1-2. Kennedy throws one into the dirt, and now it is evened up at 2-2. As Kurt said, Kennedy from Newman University standing at 6'3". His right-handed pitch is swung on for a strike, and his first strikeout of the night. And there is now 2 outs in the 3rd inning.
Lacayo saw that pitch coming. He thought he was going to break more across the plate, but it really kind of dove down and in on him, and really not a very good swing for Lacayo there, and the 2nd out of the inning.
Lacayo's first pitch to Owen Fisk is on the outside corner for ball 1. Good pitch there. Looks like a fastball from Kennedy. Evens up the count at 1-1. Heater right past Fisk. And 1-2 in favor of the pitcher. Kennedy working pretty fast here in this 3rd inning. Doesn't like to waste much time up there on the hill. 2-2 pitch. 2 outs. Swung on, grounded to the second baseman. Actually, the shortstop's going to come up with it in a laser over to Schmers, and a good play there from Oliver to wrap up this top of the 3rd inning. Going in the bottom of the 3rd. Hayesville 6, El Dorado 2. We'll be right back. You're listening to El Dorado Broncos baseball.
All right, Broncos fans, leading off this inning, playing out of the University of Texas, number 6, your center fielder, Sam Lane.
Cody Shelton back out for this 3rd inning from the Aviators, for the Aviators, excuse me, number 20, Cody Shelton. Now batting for the Broncos, this second hole hitter, Sam Lane, whose home is in center field. First pitch from Shelton is a called strike at the letters of Lane. Hit to the shortstop, and a ball that hits the ground, but a good scoop from first baseman Baxter to retire Sam Lane.
Well, ranging in the hole there was Sharrow. Good strong throw, and again with that turf, I think it makes a difference. You see it at all levels. You can almost skip that ball to the first baseman, and sometimes it gets there a little quicker. First baseman picking it off the turf, not as difficult maybe as an infield, because sometimes a dirt infield, you don't know what kind of bounce you might get. Yeah.
Now up to the plate for the Broncos, Clay Dalrymple. First pitch from Shelton is a ball. The second pitch, low in the zone, but umpire not giving it to him, and it's 2-0. Dalrymple had a single, his first at-bat in the first inning, had a stolen base while on the base pass, and now it is a 3-0 count to him. Three-0 pitch is almost hits Dalrymple, and he will walk with one out. And I'll bring up the right fielder, Jacob Spring, as Nick Green comes over to second baseman. Nick Green comes over to Cody Shelton, gives him a couple of words of encouragement here. One out in the bottom of the third. Hayesville leads 6-2. Shelton throws one back to first baseman Baxter. Not in time to get Dalrymple. Right-handed batter Jacob Spring ready. First pitch to him. Low and outside for ball one.
Avery, after a rough start for Shelton, he had retired 5 in a row before that walk to Dalrymple.
Shelton goes back to first base again. Dalrymple's there in time. Dalrymple, as I said earlier, stole a base in the first inning, so Shelton's got his eye on him over there at first base.
Dalrymple gets a nice lead over at first as well.
Dalrymple looked like maybe thought about going there as the pitch is they called strike.
And you know, Dalrymple gets such a nice lead, and yet the throws over to first, which Shelton was firing over there, haven't been really close.
Good leads and get a good play back at first. Good return to first, I should say. Dalrymple goes to second. The throw is in time and got him. To the dismay of Dalrymple, as he not happy with that call, but jogs back to the dugout.
I think that's one of those that if we're on the major league level, you might go to the instant replay. It was bang bang. Nice job by Sherrill to really slap that tag. The throw a bit high, had to bring it down. And Dalrymple, long armed and all, I thought he got in there.
As Jacob Spring flies out to right field, and that'll do it for this third inning. At the end of 3, Aviators 6, Broncos 2. You're listening to El Dorado Broncos baseball. I don't think so. I think So as we begin this top of the fourth inning, Joe Kennedy back out for the Broncos. Aviators will start this inning at the top of the lineup, starting with Nick Green. First pitch from Kennedy is in for a strike.
Tell you what, Avery, nice job by Kennedy after Hayesville, their first 5 batters of the third inning scored. He came in and 2 groundouts and a strikeout, and here he is getting in front 0-1 now, 1-1. But a nice job by Kennedy to kind of calm the waters, I think, for El Dorado.
Yeah, they needed something like that after that grand slam that was hit by Weber. Green hits it to second base, and a routine play there for Porter. Excuse me, that's Levi Parker at second base. And there is 1 out here in the top of the fourth inning. First pitch from Kennedy is a strike to Van Summeren. Next pitch is low and outside.
Kennedy barely gives you enough time to jot down what we do in our book here. You look back up, and he's already coming back to the plate. That's kind of, I imagine the fielders behind him have to like that.
As he hits the ball to first base, and Kennedy racing over to the first base line, outruns Van Summeren for out number 2. It's almost the equivalent of Mark Burley, plays for Toronto. Whenever I always like hearing the announcers saying, whenever he pitches, you know you're in for a short game, 2.5 hours, and you're out of there. 2 outs. Right-handed delivery from Kennedy is outside for a ball.
Looks like 6'5" right-hander Jake Beam warming up now down in the El Dorado bullpen. Again, opening night. This isn't a league game, so maybe a chance for the coaching staff here from El Dorado to get some players in, get them loosened up, and get them ready for a couple more non-league games coming up on Sunday and Monday before the league opener. On Tuesday night, if I'm not mistaken. Got my notes around. There it is. How'd it get way over there?
As you see, Nick Clark for the Aviators. 2 balls off to the left side. Evens the count at 2-2. Right-handed batter Nate Clark, the designated hitter. And he is going to be hit by that pitch just on the inside of his arm.
I think it was just nicked the jersey. The way I would want to get the HBP hit by pitch, where it just grazes your jersey, doesn't hit you in the arm, and yet you get awarded first base. And that's what happened there. It you could hear the nick of the jersey all the way up here.
Kendall Whitman steps in for the Aviators. Kennedy throws strike 1. Kennedy goes back to first base, and he gets Nate Clark. I don't even know if Clark really had a good eye on Kennedy there, as he just turned and released and throws out Nate Clark at first base. Then with 4.5, Aviators 6, Broncos 2. You're listening to El Dorado Broncos baseball.
Leading off this inning for your Dorado Broncos, number 7, Public Community College, your catcher, Daniel Knight.
Cameron Knight starting off this bottom half of the 4th inning. 6-2 Hayesville. Cody Shelton still on the hill for the Aviators. Shelton's first throw is high for a ball. Pitch number 2 from him is in for a strike, a good curveball. 1-1. Inside for a strike, which makes it 1-2. Fourth pitch of this at bat. Inside. Knight gets a piece of it. One-handed by the pitcher, Shelton. And an accurate throw over to Baxter to get Cameron Knight at first base.
Nice job by Shelton. Good. That was not an easy play. Again, really got inside on Knight. He fought it off. But again, a little bit of dampness on the ground. The ball tough to grip, but Shelton grabbed it in a strong throw to first, and really an easy play for Hayesville.
Shirts up, and he fouls one down the right side.
Schmitz. Jonathan Schmitz.
Schmitz is up. He had a single in the first inning.
On my roster, listed as a catcher, Avery, but playing first base here tonight.
From Tarleton University. Have you ever heard of
Tarleton
that?
State, down in Texas.
1-1 to Schmertz.
Schmitz.
You're going
to get him.
I'm going to get.
Jonathan's mom might be listening and saying, "What is that guy doing?" He didn't make you mad or anything, did he?
No, not. As Shelton throws a strike to make it 1-2.
Schmitz has a good frame to him. Nice. It looks like he could be one of those guys that could drive the ball out of the field here at McDonald Stadium.
Schmitz hits it to shortstop, and easy routine play for Sherrill. Two outs.
One of those plays that the Blue Jays muffed last night, which gave the Royals extra out, which they eventually tied the game, sent it to extras, and won the game. Just a routine 6-3 play there, but a nice job by Sherrill to throw out Schmitz.
Trevor Azale up for the Broncos. Good pitch from Shelton right on the outside corner to make it 0-1.
Reyes didn't have as much luck last night with that play.
Time called by Azale. From Butler Community College right here in El Dorado.
When we go into the 5th inning, Avery, General Manager Doug Bell is going to join us and talk a little bit about the makeup of this year's squad and the schedule and what fans both online, watching and listening, and fans here in El Dorado can look forward to this summer with El Dorado Bronco baseball.
Ball hit up the middle. Charo's right there for it, and he makes a good throw over to Baxter, and a quick 1, 2, 3 innings of work from Cody Shelton. Going into the top of the 5th inning, Hayesville 6, El Dorado 2. You're listening to El Dorado Broncos baseball. Hayesville leads this one 6-2 going into the top of the 5th inning, and now ready for the 5th inning is Kurt Caden.
Thank you, Avery. The Aviators come up, and they'll bring up Whitman, Baxter, and Weber. A 6-2 lead. Hayesville with 6 runs on 7 hits. 2 runs and 2 hits, 1 error for El Dorado. Pitching change, Jake Beam now into the game for the Broncos. Beam, 6'5", 240-pounder out of the University of Texas, Tyler. And he starts off Whitman with a ball. Whitman swings and fouls it off. I think he got more of his body than he got of the ball. You might remember Whitman in the 4th inning came up with Clark over at first base, and with a 1-strike count, Clark got picked off. So Whitman starts fresh on the count and leads off this top of the 5th inning. Again, 6-2 in favor of Hayesville. Beam with the delivery on the outside corner, and strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Kendall Whitman, young man who plays his ball at Indiana Purdue Fort Wayne. The 1-2 slapped foul. General Manager Doug Bell has joined us here in the booth. We're going to have him along. We'll probably keep him here in the entire 5th inning and get his thoughts and whatnot. We'll bring him in here in just a second. 1 ball and 2 strikes here to Kendall Whitman. 2 good innings from Kennedy as the 1-2 changeup is outside and ball 2. Kennedy out of Newman University came in and all he did was throw 2 shutout innings, gave up no hits, had a strikeout. Really the only downside to Kennedy's effort was a hit batsman, but he eventually picked him off of first place. That was Nate Clark. So good job, good 2 innings of haul there from Kennedy. The 3-2 is its win worked full, and now a walk for Whitman. So he worked it full, and he earns the walk. Doug Bell joins us, and Doug, good to see you, and it looks like another season of El Dorado Bronco baseball. Avery and I, in our first year, we're excited to be here, and it seems like an exciting brand of baseball here that we're going to see.
Yeah, I'm glad the season's finally kicked off. It's a lot of work in the off season.
Pitch lined right up the middle for a base hit. Whitman will go over to second base. That was Jake Baxter with the single, and Carlson Weber will come up. Weber 2 for 2 tonight with a single and a grand slam home run. Yeah, I would imagine opening night, I mean, any opening day for any sport is always fun, but it's been a long time waiting, and I know it's just so fun to finally get here to the start, I guess.
And we just got to work the bugs out of everything. The sound system, everything we've got going on, concessions and everything. It takes a lot of work to put this thing together and see what happens here.
So Beam in a little bit of trouble here. 2 on, no out for Weber, and strike 1. start against Weber. And I know we talked to you earlier as we were getting things set up and whatnot. I mean, you're a baseball guy. Is it, sometimes road games are a little more fun, I would imagine, for someone like you. You don't have to worry about all the other things that go on, do you?
Yeah, you get to relax and, well, I'm not going to say relax, but you get to sit there and watch a game a little more.
Weber grounds it to second, over to short for one, and to first two. Boy, what a great time. Beam inducing a 4.63 there, Doug, and nothing can make a manager happier than to see a guy who's 2 for 2, 5 RBIs go down like that.
Yep, it's really, really nice to see these guys. They don't have much time. They come in, they got a day of practice, get to know each other, then the night after they're playing.
So 2 down here in the top of the 5th. And Beam deals to Cody Sharrow, and the first pitch is a strike. What are you seeing so far? We're almost halfway through this one. Your squad down 6-2, but anything that you've enjoyed seeing from your squad so far?
Yeah, I mean, they're still in it. They're not going to give up. They're here to play.
Sharrow able to shoot one to past shortstop. The throw, I'm not sure if it was intended for first base. It ends up there. So an RBI single there for Sharrow. This is an exhibition game. Does it go on your record, Doug, or is this just practice?
This is a non-league game. This is just to fill in on our schedule. We have so many empty dates to fill.
And the Denver games on Sunday and Monday, do those go on your record or not?
Non-league.
Okay.
Overall,
overall record.
Everything will go overall.
Okay.
But not for the league.
First pitch to Jerry Lacayo. Low and in. Hayesville has tacked one more on here in the 5th inning. They lead 7-2. We saw Michael Hahn in the first inning get into a bases-loaded no-out jam, but did a nice job getting out of that inning with giving up nothing.
Yeah, and he's one of our returners. So there we go.
Pop out, Lacayo, the catcher for Hayesville, pops out to the catcher, Knight, for El Dorado. So that ends the top of the 5th inning, and Hayesville tacks one on at 7-2, and we get a little more time now to visit with Doug. And returning players, new players, you like the makeup of this squad?
Yes, I do. Early on, we lost some guys to injuries and stuff like that. That's going to happen. And you got guys that have summer school, stuff like that. So, and guys that are still playing. So, and that, they'll be on the way here the next week or so.
For those who maybe we've got folks tuned in here, being able to watch and listen to tonight's broadcast, and obviously if they have some family members or something involved in the program here. But for those that may not know, how does all this come about? How do you get these players? I mean, you have some from Newman, you have from Southern Illinois, K-State. I mean, from all over the place. How's the process go?
It takes a lot of work. Contact coaches contact us, players contact us. I mean, we'll see, being here, we can see the Butler players play and stuff like that. So, it's just scouting and recruiting. It year round through the summer. I mean, even teams are looking at players for the next season. So, but it's a lot of fun.
Of course, living here in El Dorado and getting to see Butler County, a lot of good talent in the Jayhawk Junior College League. I imagine that's got to be a nice fertile ground for you to look at.
Yeah. It just depends. We're always looking, and what we come up with for the summer season, it always turns out really good. They come in, got good chemistry, pull things together, have success on the field. Can't ask for much more than that.
What a season last year. Would have been fun to be a part of that ride. Your squad finishing 3rd at the NBC World Series, which is just such a magnificent event. Talk about how last year ended and the good feelings you had from last season's squad.
Last year, it's the same thing. You start out, you're kind of nervous how things are going to pull together, but it turned out to be, just another amazing season. So.
McGowan leading off the bottom of the 5th here for El Dorado with a ground out to the third baseman Whitman and the one away, and that'll bring up the shortstop Morgan Oliver.
And it's always nice to have some veteran players come back too. That kind of helps because they know the ropes of the place, and they can help the new guys that come in.
Who are some of the guys you look to lead on for some leadership here this year?
You know, I really don't put it on one player. I like to see them all.
Oliver won to left center field, and a nice job by Owen Fisk to track that down for the flyout and two-away.
I like each and every one of them. You know, they all contribute something, and you know, just as a whole, that's all I ask. If you really want to put somebody on the leadership side, it's really hard to do. It's a team. That's my philosophy since I've been in baseball, and that's been a long time.
Tell us about you. How long have you been around this fun game of baseball?
Ooh. Well, if you count the years that I played Little League,
we got to count that.
I don't know if I want to give that number out. I would say probably about 41, 42 years. So,
what is it about this game that keeps you coming back, doing all the hard work, doing all these things? What is it that you just love about this game?
Passion, challenge, just the drive, and it's my hometown. And you know, I got the opportunity in 2008 to become the general manager of this team, and I didn't know what I was getting into at the time, but it's been fun.
Leadoff batter here with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. Levi Parker draws a 2-out walk, and he'll trot down to first base. And here comes Sam Lane. I know Vicky Bell, very important in the whole process here, isn't she?
Yeah, she carries a pretty big load. Doesn't take much guff off of anybody either.
Oh, bat flies out of the hands of Sam Lane as he fouled the ball off. A lot of times you don't see players get a bat on the ball when they lose the bat. He fouled that one off to the right, and the bat went flying to the left. The stadium here, of course, you work here, you work in El Dorado, but the field, this has always been, being from Winfield, coming up for high school baseball. Mm-hmm. I always have enjoyed coming here. This park reminds me a lot of even Arc City Ballpark, two very nice yards in south central Kansas.
Yeah, and the history that's going on here. Players that have played here, Satchel Paige, Casey Stengel, and Mark McGuire, Barry Bonds. I mean, there's just several that have just gone on, you know, had incredible careers. One of these days, these guys will be there.
0-1 count here to Sam Lane, and Parker back. Lane tonight walked, stole a base, and scored on a single from Clay Dalrymple. Lane grounded out to short in the third. He's 0 for 1, I should say, here tonight. 7-2 Hayesville. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, and the 1-1 pitch is fouled off. Tomorrow night, we're not going to have broadcast for folks to watch online, but it should be a fun night here at the ballpark, the vintage game. Talk about what that's all about.
That's kind of been an annual exhibition that we've done several years now. It's just fun, exciting. You can add hilarious into that.
Lane fouls one. 3 Aviators give chase, but none are able to run it down, and it remains 0-2.
Little different rules in the vintage baseball. So you play it back how it was played in those days. That's the start of it. Our guys they'll have a good time. They always do.
And then Sunday night, Denver is in for the first of 2, Sunday and Monday. You go to Hayesville Tuesday, and league play opens up right here Wednesday with Derby.
Yeah, looking forward to that. These guys, first few days or so, getting settled in, getting the bugs worked out. Yeah, everything will come together. We'll be ready. We still got some guys playing, and they'll be here in the next week. Then a few more the week after that. So we're in good shape. It's always kind of nervous there to start with.
1-2 pitch as Parker goes. He picked a great pitch to go on as Shelton kind of bounced one into the left-hander's batter's box, and a stolen base for Levi Parker. Being new to seeing your squad here, Doug, we've noticed a very aggressive mindset. Dalrymple, Parker, and Lane all with stolen bases here, and Dalrymple nearly a second one. He got called out on a close play at second, but is that one of the philosophies you like to see your team with speed?
Yeah, that and just about everything. Yeah.
Ground ball to second base, close play at first, but
and
Lane is out.
Attribute that a lot of that to our coach too. I mean, that's one of his drives is be aggressive, and I like to see it. That's how I was when I was coaching. Just give it all you got.
And even on the first run that scored, when Sam Lane rounded third, you could, with there was only one out. You had first and third if they hold him up, but they waved him around and he scored easily. And again, it was one of those where you could see maybe putting the brakes there at third, but he brought him around and very aggressive ball base running.
Yeah, that's early in the season. We got to do some trial runs on some things. So I'm happy to see that.
What does the Jayhawk League? Is it hard to? You always general managers, coaches always get asked, what's the league look like this year? Is it tough in this league with so many players coming and going or whatnot to figure out who's got what coming in this year and what teams could be a big challenge?
The Jayhawk League is one of the best leagues in the country. It's been around a long time. It used to be a lot bigger, but all the teams seem to do very, very well with everybody that they bring in, and players come and go. It's going to happen, but for the most part, everybody in the league. Yeah, they do a real good job. Probably pretty aggressive, but everybody's out for the same thing. Go to that NBC later on in the season. So,
well, we'll look forward to many conversations I think with you on here, and we're grateful for the opportunity, and we look forward to many more visits with you this year, and best of luck.
Well, you know where to find me.
Just look around the yard.
That's right. I don't have much of a home life during the summer, so all right.
Thanks, Doug.
You bet.
Doug Bell joining us here, general manager for the El Dorado Broncos, and just looking forward to this season, and tell you what, all the work that goes into getting the players and host families, everything working at the park ride and PA and scoreboard. And you and I have been working on the website and trying to make sure audio and video is there, which we think we've got several listeners listening in here and watching tonight. Hope you enjoyed the video. I wish we could offer more on the video side, but I've always kind of thought, Avery, something is better than nothing, as Hayesville opens up the top of the sixth inning, and a full count on their number 9 hitter, the leadoff man of the sixth inning, is Owen Fisk. And let's send it over to Avery for the play-by-play.
Fisk 1 for 2 tonight here, and he will add a walk to that. And Hayesville starts with a leadoff runner here with no outs in the top of the sixth inning.
I want to remind folks again to watch and listen to the games. Again, we'll be posting links for each new game coming up. And but if you're a subscriber to, I guess, my channel now, as the first pitch is fouled off, go to youtube.com, search Kurt Caden, click that, subscribe. It's free. It's totally free. It won't cost you anything. We want to make this as easy for everyone to listen to. We'll try to post links on the Facebook website for El Dorado each game, so you can click that link. We want to make it as easy as possible, but any feedback we can get would be much appreciated at cadenbroadcasting@gmail.com.
As Green hits a shot to second base and a double play, which I believe is the third one tonight for the Broncos, and that will elude some trouble here in the top of the sixth inning as that clears the bases. Good old 4-6-3 double play there.
Had one just last inning, a 4-6-3, and then, of course, the 6 unassisted 3 double play by El Dorado in the first inning. So you're right, 3 double plays for the Broncos tonight.
Jake Beam throws a strike on his first pitch to Van Summeren. Second pitch from Beam hits the outside corner and is called a strike to bring the count to 0-2. Right-handed delivery. Pitch right down the middle. Grounded to first baseman, and he will not have time to get it over to Beam, who is covering first base. Little things like that, Kurt. The second baseman after that play said, I can maybe make that play there, but you could have been playing with each other for 10 years, and that could have been one of those plays in between first and second, and the first baseman decided to try to go and get it, but second baseman Parker said, I could have gotten that one, and just little things that throughout the summer I'm sure they will learn who wants what, when it's hit where, and they will get that figured out, I'm sure, as Nate Clark hits a high ball out to right field and an easy play for Spring for the Broncos. And they get out of this inning. Going into the bottom of the sixth, Haysville 7, El Dorado 2. You're listening to El Dorado Broncos baseball. So coming up for the Broncos here in the bottom of the sixth inning, we have 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Clay Dalrymple will be the leadoff batter for the Broncos. Cody Shelton makes his way back out for the Aviators after giving up 2 runs in the first inning, has thrown 4 scoreless since.
And Avery, no hits for El Dorado since that first inning. They did all their damage with 2 runs and 2 hits in the first inning, but maybe a walk sprinkled here and there. But Shelton has been in complete control, and as I look at this at my scorecard, lots of ground outs induced from Shelton here tonight.
Count is even at 1-1 to Dalrymple. Shelton's third pitch, and a single from Dalrymple. And Kurt, why didn't we say that about 2 innings ago?
Needed it. Dalrymple now 2 for 2 on the night with a walk and a run scored and an RBI, as the number 3 hitter for El Dorado has really done a nice job for these Broncos. And again tonight, a non-league game. It still goes on the record, but it doesn't go in their league record.
Jacob Spring, the right fielder, up to bat as Shelton checks the runner at first. Dalrymple's back in time. First pitch from Shelton to Spring. Good curveball in for a strike. Paints the outside corner.
I was watching Dalrymple there. He has a stolen base and a caught stealing, which was close. Could have been 2 stolen bases. After that, just as the pitch was being delivered, he took about 2 or 3 steps towards second, hit the brakes. So I don't know, maybe something he didn't like, and he got back to first base.
Spring launches the ball up above his head, and it is a 1-1 count. 1-1 pitch is fouled behind us. Give the advantage to Cody Shelton at 1 and 2.
I meant to ask Doug Bell where the best place to park and not get hit by a foul ball is. Of course, at a baseball game and yard, you never know. Sometimes they just find you.
What do you do? It's always funny because when you go to a basketball game, the first row of the parking is all full, and then you go to a baseball game and you're wondering why no one's parked close. Oh, yeah, there's a chance that my car could get hit with a baseball coming in.
Everyone parks far away at baseball.
That's one event you don't care to walk too far, just as long as my car doesn't get the hit.
I don't want any damage. Well, insurance companies, you get hail damage. Not many have foul ball damage, coverage. Unless you could try to pawn that off as a big hailstone.
I don't know. Doug Bell might need to get that insurance as much as he's here at the ballpark this summer.
That's true.
1-2 pitch from Shelton. And he got Spring looking right on the inside of the plate.
Well, he threw that right at Spring, and up here it looked like it was going to hit off his shoulder, and then the ball took to the break, the curve that Shelton put on it, and that thing just bent right inside that inside corner. Very good pitch there from Shelton.
Brings up the catcher, Cameron Knight. Knight's swinging on the first pitch. High fly ball, and it's going to be caught by Van Summeren in right field. Looked like it almost carried enough to get over his head, but Van Summeren plays it well on the warning track for out number 2.
Pretty good opposite field poke there by Knight. Good line drive, but he was played perfectly out there by Van. I checked that. That was a Weber out there in right field. Am I right?
Yes. Weber out there. First pitch fouled off.
This is your guy.
Schmitz. I'm sure his mom and dad are watching. I apologize. The funny thing is that's one of the easier names you come across. Schmitz.
Yeah.
I butchered it about 3 times.
I think it might have been the way you wrote it down in the book.
Yeah, my handwriting's not very legible, so I'll blame it on that. 0-1 pitch to him, and Shelton's gonna throw it back to first instead. Dalrymple's back in time.
I get the feeling Dalrymple's getting a little anxious to get off first base here. He's an aggressive base runner.
He already tried stealing. The ball was fouled. He'll stay at first here, and Shelton hit Schmitz, and guys on first and second with 2 outs. And that'll bring up Trevor Rozelle as Aviators manager is making his way out to the mound.
Hayesville's got a player down in their bullpen. We were not given a roster, so we had to check it online, which could be tricky now if they bring in someone new. I'm not sure. We may have to change you might get a little, as we change the computer back towards us, you may have to look at Avery and I for a little bit.
Might unfortunately have to look at us for.
But no change, I guess, just to talk.
Here comes a third baseman, Trevor Rozelle. 0 for 2 tonight so far. Looking to come up with a base hit here. Down by 5 runs here in the bottom of the 6th. Shelton agrees with the catcher on the pitch. His throw to the plate is called a strike.
When you see the catcher, you have to kind of come out of that crouch and kind of move to the outside. That generally is a telltale sign to me that it's probably not a strike, but maybe we set up on the inside.
Got the call, though. 1 to Azell. And time is called.
It's too bad Dalrymple had a great jump, but Azell got a little tired of waiting and waiting and waiting there, and Dalrymple picked a great time to run, but unfortunately for him, he'll have to go back to second.
I don't know if you can go again now, because I'm sure Cody Shelton, pitcher's watching for that now. Because generally you don't see someone steal second to third when you have a left-handed batter in the box, unless there's someone like Dalrymple that has pretty good speed.
And with 2 outs,
Yeah.
You don't usually see that either.
As Shelton powers one past Azell. 0-2 count. Broncos on first and second. 2 outs. 7-2 Aviators. Pitch from Shelton is poked by Azell, and it's bobbled by the shortstop Green. And that'll bring Jeremy McGowan to the plate with the bases loaded.
I think you got to give Green there, the second baseman, an error on that play. Probably a play he should have made, and keeps the inning alive. And what an opportunity here for El Dorado. Down 7-2 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. You don't need the big jack here, but if you could score a couple runs and make it, a little more interesting, I think that would go a long way for El Dorado.
McGowan 0 for 2 with a strikeout tonight. And he fouls off the first pitch behind home plate. Shelton looking to make it out of this inning as the Aviators have someone warming up in the pen.
And we don't know his name or his number.
Looks like number 23, but it does about as much good as it does everyone at home.
McGowan from Esto, Florida, playing college ball at Troy, which produced, of course, DeMarcus Ware. Played for the Dallas Cowboys. There you go. And now Denver.
Pitch from Shelton is a little high and called for ball 1. 1-1 to McGowan. 2 outs here. Bases loaded for the designated hitter. 1-1 pitch. Good curveball and gets the outside corner.
It's always hard to tell, Avery, I think, curve and slider. But, boy, that thing just really moving across, and McGowan looked a little locked up. I don't think he was thinking off speed on that pitch.
Did not look like he was thinking that. And now 1-2 pitch. And another looked like slider there, and just off the plate. Didn't get the call from the umpire. 2-2 pitch, 2 outs. Shelton steps off the mound. Wants to catch his breath, and now he's ready to go. No infielders are holding any of the runners, so ball in the gap probably scores one from first base, and just like that, a ball hit him between right and left, or right and center field, and it's going to be run down by Owen Fisk. Pretty good drive there, Kurt, from Jeremy McGowan.
Yeah, just hung up there, and Fisk did a good job of running it down. The Aviators, again, they've just played 2 games, but you could almost tell there the center fielder Fisk and the right fielder Weber, good communication. And Fisk took over on that situation, made the catch, and just one of those, if they can find a gap, you score probably 3, and it's 7-5. Instead, Fisk makes the catch, makes it look routine, and Hayesville holds on to a 5-run lead as we go into the 7th inning.
And it looks like Jake Beam will make his way back out for...
I think we got a new one, actually, Avery. Avery and I are still learning names and numbers, and when we get the pitcher to turn around, I think we'll be able to see the back number. It's hard to read the front number.
So the current score right now, 7-2. Aviators, mainly in part to the 5-run third inning. And a grand slam hit by Carlson Weber, which really, at that time, it was, I believe it was 2-2. And that home run gave them the 4-run advantage. And ever since, they have not looked back, up 5 runs right now. Chase Golzo out of the University of Nebraska Kearney, 6'4", right-handed pitcher, 185 pounds, steps onto the mound, and he will be doing the duties in the 7th inning.
So far, Avery, 3 pitchers for El Dorado tonight. Hahn, Kennedy, and Beam all have gone 2 innings apiece. Unfortunately, Hahn had the worst of it, giving up 6 earned runs. Beam goes 2 innings, gives up 3 hits, 2 walks, but only 1 run allowed by Beam.
Coming up for the Aviators, the 4, 5, and 6 batters, starting with Kendall Whitman. He's 1 for 2 on the night, 1 strikeout and the single. 0-1 pitch is a ball, which evens the count up at 1. Goldsman's pitch is inside, and a called strike. Good pitch from him, make it 1-2. Goldsman working a little slower than Beam and Hahn, and as ball is fouled outside of the ballpark.
Golzo, 6'3", 175 from Grand Island, Nebraska.
Pitch from Goldsman is grounded up the middle, and it is a single as it was stopped by the second baseman, Parker, but he turned around and looked at first and realized how far Whitman was, and realizes to hold the ball on a easy single there from him.
Certainly a good grab there by Parker, but his momentum took him. I think he was closer to left field than he was the infield there, and made a wise decision not to fire that over to first. Guy on first with no outs. That brings up Jake Baxter, the first baseman. He's also 1 for 2. Oh, 0-1 pitch from Golzo. Steal from Whitman, and he's thrown out at second. Great throw there from Cameron Knight. And so that halts that attack from that threat, I should say, from Hayesville. And 1-1 count with 1 out. Golzo's next pitch is outside for ball 2. 2-1. Two-one delivery is grounded to the first baseman. Schmitz will step on first for out number 2. I'll bring up Carlson Weber. Had the grand slam earlier in this game, which has been the difference between these two teams. Low for ball 1. Yeah, Avery, that grand slam coming in the top of the 3rd inning. The second time in 3 innings that Hayesville loaded the bases, and Weber did not let that opportunity pass as he drove one out of the yard.
Ground ball to Parker, and he makes a good throw over to Smith. And that is the end of the top of the 7th. And now it is time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game here at McDonald Stadium.
Be out with the crowd, fighting something as it cracks the neck. I don't care if I ever get back there. Remember the Broncos, if they go win, it's a shame. So it's 1, 2, 3 seconds out the old ball game. All right, here we go. Go Broncos!
So a cool little tradition. Take me out to the ball game there. As Evan Jensen, there we go. Evan Jensen, the new pitcher for the Aviators. Catcher makes his way back out to a little discussion with Jensen, and there we go. Morgan Oliver steps up to the plate. He's 0 for 2 tonight for the Broncos.
Morgan Oliver.
The Chippewa from Central Michigan. 6'1", 205 pounds is Morgan Oliver, the shortstop. First pitch from Jensen is high and a ball, 1-0 count. Pitch number 2 from Jensen, also outside, and Oliver gets ahead of Jensen right away. 2-0 count. 7-2 Aviators. Bottom of the 7th inning. Jensen delivers one right down the middle. Oliver taking all the way there. Sets and delivers. And a foul ball off to the right side, which evens the count at 2-2. Hayesville in the gray tops, the Broncos in the black vests and orange undershirts. As the ball is grounded to the second baseman, Green, he makes a good play to Baxter, and there is one down in the bottom of the 7th.
Avery, good night. Cody Shelton, the starting pitcher for Hayesville, really got off to a rocky start. You mentioned a 30-pitch first inning. Boy, did he rebound nicely. He goes 6 innings tonight. Gave up 3 runs. Check that. Gave up 2 runs, both earned. Just 3 hits, had 3 walks and 3 strikeouts tonight.
And it's kind of weird. You see that a lot in baseball. Some of these pitchers come out and have a rocky first inning and then come out, and that's just kind of what they need, I guess, as he threw, 4 or 5 straight scoreless innings as a tapper to the third baseman. And he's going to throw out the runner, Levi Parker. That throw from Whitman for the Aviators, so 2 quick outs for the Broncos. Sam Lane up at the plate. center fielder. 0 for 2 tonight with the walk. Jensen's delivery is a good pitch, and it's 1-1.
Looked like he went changeup there on the 1-0 count, and Lane had really strided forward and dropped right in for a strike.
Lane hits one up the middle, and it's stopped by Green, but he lost the ball, and so base runner with 2 outs here, Sam Lane, and that'll bring up Clay Dalrymple.
Fun to see the effort that both teams. We saw Morgan Oliver diving earlier. We saw Cheryl with a diving play, and there's Nick Green diving. I mean, both teams early in the season really just throwing their bodies out there and doing what they can. That's great to see. Love that effort at this level.
Dalrymple steps up to the plate. He's 2 for 2 tonight. Couple stolen bases. There goes Lane, and he is thrown out at second. A great throw from Lacayo to catch Sam Lane stealing. That'll end the bottom of the 7th. At the end of 6. Excuse me, at the end of 7. Hayesville 7, El Dorado 2. We'll be back with your final 2 innings. You're listening to El Dorado Bronco Baseball.
Broncos, number 22 on our team, State University Langdon Bush.
So I wonder if the audio sucks out.
As we get this 8th inning started, Hayesville leading 7-2, and Kirk Hayden.
Thank you, Avery. The Aviators will send to the plate Cody Sharrow, Jerry Lacayo, and Owen Fisk. New pitcher in the game for El Dorado, Landon Bush. Bush, a lefty from Brookings, South Dakota, 6'1", 200 pounds, and plays his college ball at Kansas State University. Now, I do realize one thing, again, our first broadcast here of the night and using YouTube and whatnot, when we won't be able to read your comments till after the game, but I would imagine as I look at the video, I'm sure the video and the audio may not sync up, but I think getting to look at the field, even if it doesn't sync up, has got to be better than looking at you and I the whole night.
I'll take any comments.
CadenBroadcasting@gmail.com. So the first pitch from Bush, who's looks like he's got a rocket arm, left-hand delivery. Really interesting to see what he brings to the table this year. Sharrow at the plate, 1 ball and 1 strike. And Sharrow looked like a check swing, and he did go. Top of the 8th inning. 7-2, Hayesville. Bush with the windup. And the delivery on the outside, just off the outside corner, and it's 2-2. 5-run third inning from Hayesville has really been it has been the difference here tonight. Nice curve slider. Started in the batter's box there, and then it just kind of slid across the outside corner, and a strikeout of Cody Sherrill.
You know, it's a good pitch whenever the catcher, he didn't even need the umpire to make that call. He was already at third base hand, Zell's hand, before the umpire made that strikeout call. It was a great pitch.
So, catcher Jerry Lacayo at the plate. Jerry 0 for 3 tonight. A ground out to Levi Parker at second base, a strikeout, and a pop out to Christian Knight. And out in front of this curve and taps it foul. And Lacayo in a hole, 0 balls and 2 strikes. Very comfortable night here, a little bit muggy. They're forecasting some storms for into Sunday, not so much tomorrow. We'll have to wait and see what Sunday night's game is. Bush blows one past Lacayo for a strikeout. But, you know, you can't always tell a guy in warm-ups what he's going to bring, but looking at Bush as he was warming up, he looked like that fireballing guy, a guy that might be a good 8th or 9th inning guy for El Dorado, and we're seeing that here early on here with 2 strikeouts, 1 looking, 1 swinging.
2 up, 2 down, and both via the strikeout. Like you said, he's got some heat to him coming. Good placement with this heat.
When he throws the gas and then he throws that slider in there, looks like a pretty good, you know, maybe 10 to 12 mile an hour difference from his fastball to his slider. Mason Amarillo is pinch hitting here for Owen Fisk. We think. Again, we don't have a roster from Hayesville. We hope to have rosters from both teams throughout the season when we are here, but we don't have it here tonight. Opening night for El Dorado. Hayesville has played a couple of games this year. And they are 0-2, but they lead this one 7-2. Bush low on the ball 2 pitch, and that makes it 3 balls and no strikes to Amarillo. Owen Fisk, who we replaced, went 1 for 2 tonight with a walk. Bush right down the center of the plate for a strike. Fisk had an RBI, a big RBI, back in the 2nd inning. He slapped one down the third base line to get Hayesville on the board. There's one across the knees. Amarillo was ready to toss that bat into the dugout and take his walk, but instead the umpire says, no, let's do it one more. 3 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 8th inning. Landon Bush looks in. He's got the glove covering his face, and now he winds and deals. And like a slider that started in the middle and then dove down into the batter's box is ball 4 and a walk for Amarillo. So Nick Green back to the top of the order for Hayesville, and Avery, this is the 5th time round now for this Hayesville offense. 7 runs on, I'll have to add up the hits in my book. The scoreboard says 11 hits, but it's been a pretty good night for Hayesville offensively so far, much better than their first 2 nights.
You can imagine as a coach, as a strike is thrown, 0-1 count. As a coach, that's what you want early in the season. Get as many at-bats as you can. And not only for the players, but so the coaches can kind of get a feel on where everyone needs to be, because just because someone's batting first tonight, in 2 weeks they might need to be batting 5th hole or 6th hole. So this is a good time for the coaches to watch everyone get a couple rounds at bats.
0-1, Bush deals, and just outside. Green tonight, 0 for 3. He started the game, second pitch of the game, got hit by a pitch. Got all the way to third base, but did not score, and then was grounded out to short and to second, and then grounded into a 4-6-3 double play. Inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. 2 down here in the top of the 8th. The last run to score in this game was when we were talking to General Manager Doug Bell in the top of the 5th inning. That's when Hayesville put a single run across. Good gas by Bush, and that makes it 2-2. And he looks like the kind of guy, Avery, that, he's got the sliders and he's nibbling a little bit. But I think if he wants to get right down to it, he can just throw that heater right in there and take his chances.
And that's, I think, what we'll see here on a 2-2 pitch. 2 outs.
Green, the leadoff man, 0 for 3 here tonight. And the pitch, and a slider in is slapped out to right field, but it's going to be chased down by Jacob Spring, and a pretty clean inning outside of the walk for Bush. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left on base. After 7.5, Hayesville 7, El Dorado 2. More play-by-play in just a moment. You're listening to El Dorado Bronco Baseball. And welcome back here, Kurt Caden, along with Avery Osen from McDonald Stadium and Brad Long Field. 7-2 Hayesville. And the Aviators, after a clean inning from Evan Jensen, will bring in Travis Leverett into the game. And Leverett with a delivery. Tell you what, you don't see a lot of sidearm deliveries, and we saw Kennedy from El Dorado earlier with that kind of sidewinder delivery, and here is another one, this one for Hayesville and Leverett. Leading off is Clayton Dalrymple. He was at the plate when Sam Lane was gunned down trying to steal second base. Dalrymple watches strike 1 go across the plate. Bottom of the 8th inning. 7-2 in favor of the Aviators. Leverett outside, and it's 1-1. Of course, it doesn't do our folks watching on YouTube much good and listening, but something about being back at the ballpark, the smells of the ball yard. There was some fresh popcorn. It looked like it had a little of that good heavy butter on there. I'm not something about good buttered corn at the game. You just can't beat. I saw some folks with some peanuts. I see some drinks and whatnot, and hot dogs, and they do a good job here in the concession stand, which you and I have yet to frequent, but I imagine we will at some point this year.
We'll tell everybody how it is.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, Dalrymple, to right field, and tell you what, Weber drifted back and then had to come forward a little bit to make that catch, but he makes it and retires Clayton Dalrymple for the first out of the inning. After a really exciting first inning offensively for El Dorado, the Hayesville pitching staff has really put the offense on kind of into neutral. No runs and just 2 hits through the past 5 1/3 innings for El Dorado. Jacob Spring, right fielder, up at the plate. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Popped out to third, flew out to right, and struck out looking. Cameron Knight waits on deck. And the 1-0 pitch is outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Spring. El Dorado tomorrow night will be hosting the vintage game, old school baseball. Our next broadcast will be Sunday night. Denver is in town for the first of 2. At first, when I saw the schedule, Avery, and talked with Doug and Vicky, and they said exhibition, I thought, it doesn't really count on the record. Well, it does count on the record, but it's not a league game, which I understand. This Hayesville squad plays in the Walter Johnson League, but of course, at the end of the year, they all hope to make it to Wichita for the NBC World Series. 3 balls and a strike.
Those are games that will prepare you even better for mid-July when you're playing up at Lawrence Dumont.
Oh, Spring with a nice swing and slaps one out into right center field. One hops the center fielder out there in imagine that's Amarillo now out there for the Aviators, and a base hit for Spring. So Cameron Knight will come up. Knight was hit by a pitch back in the first inning. Grounded out to the pitcher Shelton in the 4th and flew out to right field in the 6th. There he is with 1 down and 1 on in the bottom of the 8th. The catcher, Cameron Knight. And the delivery is bobbled by the catcher. He gathers, fires it down to second, but taking the base is Jacob Spring. I think you have to call that a pass ball. Not a terrible pitch there from Leverett. The catcher just dropped it and then lost it. I think he thought it went behind him, and it was right below him.
A good play there. Was base runner Lane correct? Yeah, he got a great jump after he saw the catcher couldn't find the ball and found himself on second now with 1 out.
Takes a double play out of the equation as the ball is chopped out to short. Running down the line hard is Schmitz, is Knight, and he is safe. And an infield single. Again, we've seen a lot of high choppers here today, Avery, and that time, good job of the catcher, Cameron Knight, hustling down there, and the Broncos have something cooking here.
Like you said, just that ball that Spring got from first to second took out that double play, and with that, turned to second and then a throw to first, and that could have been out of this inning already, but with that pass ball, Broncos are still alive with 1 out and have a chance to make something of this inning, down by 5 runs.
Well, after going, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 straight innings without a hit, they have gathered a single in the 6th, a single in the 7th, now 2 singles here in the 8th. And a big at bat here for Jonathan Schmitz, the Bronco first baseman. He is 1 for 2. He got plunked by a ball back in the 6th inning. Runners at first and third, and just as the pitcher Leverett was about to deliver, Schmitz said that's too much time, and he called time, and it was granted. So El Dorado trying to make some noise here late. Bottom of inning number 8, Hayesville 7, El Dorado 2. Leverett to the plate, and that's high and away. Ball 1. Knight at first, and Jacob Spring at third. Dalrymple led off the inning with a fly ball to right field. Caught out there by Carlson Weber. 1-0 to Schmitz, and a throwback to first. They picked off Knight, and now how will Hayesville handle this run down? Knight hustles back, and he gets to first base. And again, early in the season, some indecision. Guys don't know each other that well, and boy, Hayesville, I tell you what, up 7-2. So concerned about the runner Spring at third, they just didn't even really try to get Knight. I think in that situation, you get the runner, get the out. Even if the runner comes across and scores, you're still up by 4.
That's a good point. And if he does score, bases, no one's on base, and 2 outs,
and it's 7-3. Again, at this time of the game, I mean, you're just trying to get trying to get that 24th, 25th, 26th, and 27th out,
which can be the hardest in the game.
Absolutely. 7-2, and now 2 balls and no strikes to the first baseman, Jonathan Schmitz. Leverett to the belt, and the pitch. Schmitz bounces it to third, and again, they're concerned with Spring, and Spring gets into a run down here between third and home. Spring now back to the base, and he is there! And the bases are loaded, And Avery again, Hayesville giving up outs. So worried. You would think it was a 3-2 game right now. They're so concerned with Spring. That really should have been, with no offense to Schmitz, probably a 5-4-3 double play for Hayesville if they just went ahead and took it.
We should really be heading into the top of the ninth inning right now, but luckily for the Broncos, a little miscommunication on the Aviators' part, and as you can mention, we don't have a name on their head coach, but I'm sure
we do.
We do, okay.
I wrote it down. Gabe Grinder in his second year.
Well, I'm sure he just went out to the mound and had a little team meeting with the infield, and I'm sure there weren't a whole lot of nice words in there. Maybe saying, "Let's go, guys. Let's just get it out somewhere." That's the key.
2 botched rundowns. And they've really kind of created this. Schmitz will be credited with a fielder's choice there. And so that will make him 1 for 3 on the night. Bases loaded, and Azell at the plate. And ball 1. Funny game. I mean, here El Dorado, outside of the spring single, which was solid, they haven't made great contact, but here they are with bases loaded and 1 out. 1-0 to Azell, the third baseman, and that one dropped in too low. So 2-0 for Azell. McGowan would be next. McGowan, you might remember, flew out deep to right center field back in the 6th inning when Owen Fisk made a nice catch out there to end a threat for the Broncos. 2-0 to Azell. And the pitch, and Azell into the hole, a base hit. 1 run is in, and El Dorado, as aggressive they've been tonight, no need to be aggressive there, and you don't want to get anyone thrown out at home, so Spring scores. Knight over to third, Schmitz to second, and an Azell RBI single.
Now Jeremy McGowan, and like you said, he got a deep hit to center field, I believe. Was it center field or
kind of right center right in there?
And I think you said it hung just a little bit too much, which it did, and now he will come up and have a chance with the tying run at home base.
Tough luck here for Travis Leverett. He will exit, and we'll get the name of the new Hayesville pitcher in a moment, but his squad really let him down defensively, kind of botching 2 rundowns in this inning, and that has given the Broncos some life. So we'll take a pause in the action. 7-3 our score. Dylan Sturgis coming in. More action from El Dorado after this on the El Dorado Bronco Baseball Network. Kurt Gaten, Avery Osen here from McDonald Stadium, and again, Dylan Sturgis, the new pitcher for Hayesville. As he comes in, Leverett gave up 3 hits. He's given up 1 run that's his, and he's responsible for all the runners on base right now. But again, he had a nice pickoff at first. They had Knight, but they were so concerned with Jacob Spring at third, they let Knight go back to first. Then on a Jonathan Schmitz bouncing ball to third base instead of going to second and over to first and getting a double play or at least 1 out, Avery. They, again, were concerned with Spring, who did a good job staying alive. He got back on. And then a base hit from Azell, and has caused all sorts of trouble here for the Aviators.
I think it really comes into a confidence thing. The Broncos' momentum just spiked there, and I can kind of feel the crowd getting behind them here. feels like from the second to the seventh inning, the Broncos fans have kind of not had a whole lot to cheer for, but now 7-3, bases loaded, and here we go.
Jeremy McGowan steps up for El Dorado, 7-3 the score. And the first pitch from Sturgis, a slider on the outside, and it's ball one. One and 0 to McGowan, and the pitch fastball is too high. Always tough for relievers too. I mean, this is what they do, Avery. But bases loaded, one out. Tough situations to come into, but that's what these relievers sign up to do.
Yeah, they've been sitting down for 8 innings, and they're expected to come in and get 2 outs.
Jeremy McGowan from Esto, Florida. Bats right and throws right. 6'3", 220-pounder. The Broncos scored 2 in the bottom of the first. Hayesville answered with 1 in the top of the second. And then after 1 run had scored to tie it at 2, Carlson Weber hit a grand slam for Hayesville, and they took a 6-2 lead. It add 1 more in the 5th to lead 7-2. And El Dorado has scored here in the bottom of the 8th, again for the first time since the bottom of the first inning. And the bases are loaded for Jeremy McGowan. 7-3 our score. 2 balls and no strikes for the left-handed throwing Dylan Sturgis. Sturgis sets, and the throw, and nowhere close, and it is 3-0. Morgan Oliver would be next for El Dorado. Three balls, no strikes. Do they give McGowan the green light here? They do not. He takes, and it's strike 1. Be pretty gutsy early in the year. Usually you see managers give that to guys they have a little confidence in. They've seen them hit. Here on night number 1, I don't know if anyone knows anyone that well yet. 3 balls, 1 strike, and McGowan behind on the fastball, and now Sturgis has worked his way back to 3-2. So many great things about this game. Here it is, 3-0, bases loaded. You think Sturgis is going to walk him? He battles back to get it to 3-2 here. Sturgis, a long look in. Right-handed batting, Jeremy McGowan. And the pitch from Sturgis, and he slid one in there. Slider. Yep, and he knew it. McGowan doesn't like it, but I think he knew it as well, Avery. Gutsy call there by Sturgis, who hasn't been close with that pitch, but he came in with it at the most critical time.
Yeah, and like you said, I think McGowan knew it as well. Just a good pitch, down 3-0, and comes back and works for the strikeout.
So that brings up Oliver.
Yeah, I was going to say, just a big strikeout there. 2 outs, and now maybe puts a little less stress here on the defense.
Oliver 0 for 3 tonight. Grounded out to short and second, flew out to center field. And Sturgis now feeling confident after 3 straight balls to McGowan. He's come back with 4 straight strikes. 3 of them to McGowan, and now he leads off Oliver with a strike 1 pitch. 7-3 Hayesville. The Broncos in need of a clutch single here. A clutch hit from Oliver. The 0-1. And that one bends inside, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So the vintage game tomorrow night, and then Sunday and Monday night on the air. Avery and I will be here as Denver comes to town. No coverage from us on Tuesday at Hayesville, and then Wednesday night we'll be back on as Derby comes in, the Derby Twins. And another slider, that's a ball, 2 balls, 1 strike. Thursday, a trip to Wellington for El Dorado, and then the weekend series, Hayes comes in, and we'll have all 3 of those games. So lots of baseball for these young men. 2 balls, 1 strike, and a ball off the glove of the catcher, Lacayo. But he's able to run it down before any harm is done. But now the count is 3 balls and 1 strike, and a good hitter's count here for Morgan Oliver. Oliver from Central Michigan, out of Solana Beach, California. It just sounds nice and warm, doesn't it? The 3-1, and Oliver watches the second strike. Good pitch from Sturgis. He didn't just gift wrap one right down the middle. He went inner half of the plate there, and Oliver got tied up a bit and was unable to swing.
Big spot here.
Full count, bases loaded, 2 outs. Sturgis to the belt. He looks in. Here comes the pitch, and Oliver was just able to foul it. So the merry-go-round will reset here for El Dorado. Any ball into the gap, Avery scores 3, you would think, here for the Broncos.
Yep, everybody running here on this 3-2 count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. 7-3 Haysville.
Sturgis looks in. Oliver a little uncomfortable there, so he calls timeout. Sturgis looking in. He went slider on 3-2 to McGowan. What will he do here with Oliver? And he goes fastball, and Oliver delivers to left center field. 1 run scores. 2 runs score. Here comes the 3rd, and he will score as well. Trevor Azell, a 3-run double for Morgan Oliver. And boy, we've got a ball game again, Avery. 7-6, our score.
Just like that. El Dorado puts up a 4 spot so far in this inning, and it's not over yet. The tying run standing on second base and the go-ahead run at home plate in Levi Parker.
Knight, Schmitz, and Azell all scored on that bases clearing double by Morgan Oliver. And here's Levi Parker. And a great play by Lacayo. I believe that's Lacayo still behind the plate. And it's ball 1 to Levi Parker.
Big stop because that would have sent Oliver to third. And then any pass ball probably would have scores him and ties this game. So big stop there from Lacayo.
So some action here for El Dorado in the 8th. And Parker slaps one to short, deep in the hole. He's unable to make the throw. He comes back to third base. And a nice job by Oliver to not wander too far off the bag. I think a good decision from Sherrill at shortstop. He really didn't have much chance to throw out the leadoff man Parker over at first base.
And like you said, almost caught Morgan Oliver rounding that base. And now Sam Lane up. The go-ahead run, standing on first base. Could we see a steal here?
The 9th batter to come to the plate here for El Dorado in the 8th inning. They entered the inning down 5. They're within 1 in the tying run at third. Sam Lane at the plate against Sturgis, and the pitch, and it's low. Nice job by Lacayo again. Sam Lane, a walk, stolen base and scored, ground out to short, ground out to second, and then a single, and then was cut down, stealing second. He's been active tonight. Sam Lane. 1-0. Ooh, and looked like a hanging slider there, but Lane unable to catch up with it. Strike 1. Ball 1, strike 1. To Sam Lane. From the University of Texas, Tyler, Plano, Texas resident. Sturgis over to first base, gives a check on Levi Parker. Parker walked back in the 5th inning and stole second base. So he's a threat to steal. He's got a good lead. Sturgis delivers. And again, off speed, and Lane was way out in front. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 7-6, Hayesville. Their big inning was the 3rd. They scored 5. El Dorado's big inning right here in the bottom of the 8th. They've scored 4. Looking for another, but Sturgis strikes out Lane to end the inning. 9 men come to the plate for El Dorado. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They score 4 runs on 5 hits. And 2 men left on base. We'll go to the 9th inning. Our score, Hayesville 7, El Dorado 6. More play-by-play in a moment here. You're listening to El Dorado Baseball. And welcome back. Ryan McKay is going to take over the pitching duties here for the El Dorado Broncos. McKay, a 6'2", 160-pound kid, plays at Pittsburgh State.
Looks like he has some of his family here right in front of us. They gave a good cheer after his name was called.
So manager Chad Gerwin getting a good look at a lot of pitchers here tonight, Avery. This will be the 5th pitcher tonight. Gerwick. Chad Gerwick. And the first pitch is in there for a strike. Evan Van Summeren. Top of the 9th here. Hayesville leads 7-6. And Van Summeren up the middle. It'll be fielded by Parker. Fires over to first. Then he'll throw out Van Summeren. And Avery, again, I don't mean to kind of beat a dead horse, but El Dorado did a good job of taking advantage of what Hayesville gave him in that 8th inning, because Hayesville botched a couple of rundowns, which I know is kind of baseball 101, but they got concerned with a runner whose run really didn't mean that much. The out was more important, and they just didn't take advantage of their opportunity.
Yeah, and like you said, as Nate Clark base hit in between first and second base, as you said earlier, in that 8th inning, it wasn't as much as necessarily taking the lead, but just making a dent in that 5-run lead, which they did, and now they're only down 1 run, which is a lot more doable than going into the 9th inning down 5, 4, or even 3 runs.
And really, after how everything transpired, it really probably should have been still 7-2 or even 7-3 at worst for Hayesville, but El Dorado with a Morgan Oliver bases clearing double, making it 7-6. Kendall Whitman at the plate, and the first pitch from McKay is outside, ball 1. Clark over at first base as he just singled. Between first and second, he shot one there. 1-0 and outside. 2 balls and no strikes to Whitman. Whitman on the night, I guess officially 1 for 2. A single in the 7th. Struck out in the first. He sacrificed back in the 3rd, you might remember, and he reached when he bunted to 3rd and there was an errant throw, and he then later scored on the grand slam from Weber and a walk in the 5th inning. So 2 runs scored. He came around and scored in that 5th inning as well. And now he's hit by a pitch. Whitman on base again. Each time, 4 times now he has been on base. He's scored twice. Did not score in the 7th inning, but then El Dorado will try to keep him from scoring here in the 9th. Jake Baxter coming up. Baxter, 2 for 4. Interesting night for Baxter, I'll tell you in a moment. First pitch from McKay is outside. Avery, we talked about this. Baxter came up in the 1st inning when El Dorado had bases loaded, 1 out, and Baxter hit into a double play. But then Baxter got up in the 3rd inning in the same kind of situation. He singled and got an RBI just in front of the grand slam home run as the 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. I thought a nice job by him not to hang his head or worry about what the first at bat. He really came back and put together a good bat in the 3rd inning.
Yeah, he's, been a key part here tonight, and he's looking to extend this lead. That's already at 1 run right now. At the top of the 9th.
Plays his college ball at Rose State.
Yeah, that's in Oklahoma.
Yes. 2 balls and 1 strike to Baxter. McKay to the dish, and out in front is Baxter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hayesville, who comes into play tonight 0-2, has a couple of home games. They were at Valley Center for 2 at El Dorado here tonight. They go home tomorrow to take on Hutchinson, and then they'll be home for Park City. And then El Dorado will be at Hayesville as well. 3 straight strikes to Baxter, and he strikes out swinging. And Carlson Weber to the dish. 2 for 4. 5, check that, 4 RBIs, 2 runs scored. for Weber on the night, right fielder. Plays his college ball at Bradley University. And he goes to second base, and a nice pick over there by Parker, and he'll throw out Weber. Not an easy play there by Parker. Looked like he got it on the short hop, and Weber, when he hits it, puts some sting on it. But a nice job by El Dorado, and now we go to the ninth inning. And the bottom of the ninth inning, our score, Hayesville 7, El Dorado 6.
On that play there by Parker, wasn't even really like he ran over to get that ball. It was almost like in basketball, a defensive slide there that he did to bat down that ball to make sure it didn't go into the outfield, and then made a good throw to first base.
And it looks like another new pitcher now into the game. And we'll get a name here hopefully in just a moment. Got to say hello to my sister, Lisa, listening in Mansfield, Ohio. She's watching and listening tonight, so hello, Lisa.
Good to have you along.
Yeah, the mother of Ginger and Gertrude, the geese in Mansfield, Ohio. How often do we think Ginger and Gertrude would get a shout out? So we've got a new pitcher in, and the name Troglia, Devin Troglia. You know, things are a lot easier if you had a roster, you know?
It's one of those things that you've been broadcasting for 15 years, don't really ever think about not having a roster, and then once you don't have it, it's like
when the washing machine goes out or the dishwasher, someone's like, those things you just take for granted, and when you don't have them, you realize how vital they are to what we do. Again, thanks to Doug Bell and Vicki Bell for allowing us the opportunity to bring you El Dorado Bronco baseball. Again, we'll have all the home games, and hopefully we can get maybe some road games in there as well, but certainly all the home games. Go to youtube.com, search Kurt Caden, subscribe to the channel, and we'll have the links for for the games as they come up. And we noticed something new we learned on YouTube. They had the countdown even of when the broadcast would start. I don't think we exactly started as we're still learning a little bit, but we're getting there, I think. Usually, Avery and I are the kind, as Dalrymple leads off the bottom of the ninth, we do fine at the talking and whatnot, but we really desire someone else to do the setup, some of the really smart stuff. You and I can do.
One of those things we take for granted.
Yeah. So when we and I have to get things like we have to do the techie side of it, I'm just impressed we're right here. As Dalrymple is nicked across the wrist, and a good start for El Dorado to start off the bottom of the ninth inning.
If nothing else, Dalrymple at first base is going to give the pitcher a lot of attention. Maybe he can throw a bad pitch now for Jacob Spring, and he can take advantage of it. Whereas Dalrymple at first base has 2 stolen bases already tonight, and I'm sure he's looking to make that 3.
Troglia, as a bunt is laid down perfectly over to first base, and safe. Jacob Spring is safe, and that draws the ire of Gabe Grinder, the manager for Hayesville. It didn't look, it almost looked like the first baseman over there, Baxter, kind of swung his foot at first base, but he didn't quite get there, and good job of hustling down the line by Jacob Spring.
You know, a team, I'm sure, 0-2 on the season, up 7-2 in this game in the 8th inning, and I'm sure the coach maybe just kind of frustrated with how the season started, and that call did not help his attitude tonight. With he's still kind of giving the umpires a little trouble about that, but
it's a tough one.
nevertheless, first and second, no out for the Broncos.
And I think you give Spring a single there. It was a well placed bunt, kind of indecision who fields it. Finally, the first baseman Baxter took it, but just again we had some moisture earlier, and it looked like he just didn't really get dug in there where you could get over to first base. You got to be careful of your footing as Knight squares around and takes strike one. Great opportunity for El Dorado here, not only to tie this game, but maybe to win it in regulation.
Looks like Cameron Knight here is maybe going to attempt a bunt to advance the runners.
He squares around, but Troglia checks the runner at second base. And if you're Knight here, Avery, I know you want to make the third baseman field this bunt. Force him to go over to first base and get the two runners into scoring position. Troglia knows that. He throws one low and outside, and it's a ball. You and I watching the Royals, we saw Pedro Siriaco square around and took one right off the helmet last night, because a lot of pitchers, when people square around, they will throw inside. Not trying to hit you, but it's hard to bunt a high fastball inside.
Yeah, that one.
Knight gets the bunt down right in front of home plate. The throw down to first is a good one by Lacayo. The sacrifice goes 2-3, and the Broncos have what they want. Runners at second and third with just one away.
And Hayesville is going to have their infield come in for this one. So any ball into right field or into outfield, and outfielders are playing pretty deep.
Although center field looks like it almost looks like the left and right fielders are further out, and the center fielder is pulled in. Again, they've got to know their arm strength. But the thing also to consider here is the runner at third base, Dalrymple, is not the winning run. The runner they've got to be concerned with is down at second base, Jacob Spring. Of course, they would like to get none of them to score, but the runner at second is the key one. Ball one to Jonathan Schmitz, and Lacayo calls time behind home plate here.
For any of you that have not been to McDonald Stadium, down left field 323, straightaway center, left center is 375, and then down the right field line is 303 are the dimensions of McDonald Stadium.
The 1-0 from Troglia, and Schmitz fouls it off. Schmitz tonight, a single, ground out to short. He was hit by a pitch and then reached on a fielder's choice in the 8th inning and eventually scored. It was his ball down to third base, where you and I thought maybe Elder or Hayesville would go 5-4-3. And instead, they didn't, and Schmitz got aboard. 1 ball, 1 strike, and Schmitz able to just hold up as Troglia sent a slider that went sliding from the inside part of the plate all the way to the outside, and it's a ball. Ball 2. 7-6 Hayesville. Bottom of the 9th inning. El Dorado with Clayton Dalrymple at third. Jacob Spring down at second base. Jonathan Schmitz at the dish. Ahead here, 2 balls, 1 strike. And it's low and past the catcher, Lacayo. Here comes Dalrymple, and we're tied. Gift wrap run, and El Dorado Avery's come all the way back, and now the winning run. Jacob Spring stands at third base.
Like you said earlier, you got to give El Dorado credit, but a lot of the scoring of these runs are on Hayesville errors or miscommunications, and just like that, a pass ball, and this game's tied at 7 with the winning run, standing only 90 feet from a 1-0 start to the season for the Broncos.
Self-inflicted wounds more than anything here. Again, we're going to say it's a lot of El Dorado, but, if we're looking at it fairly, it's been a lot of Hayesville. And Schmitz called time, but they were going to intentionally pass him at 3-1. And I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they put Azell on here either, Avery. Trevor Azell. We'll see what Hayesville wants to do here. First, and with Schmitz ahead 3-1, they put him on. The corners are in for Hayesville, the winning run, and it looks like Lacayo is going to just have Sturgis throw an intentional pass here to Azell. So that's going to set it up, Avery, for Jeremy McGowan. El Dorado with 4 runs in the 8th. They've tied it here in the 9th.
And like you said, intentional walk here will bring the bases loaded for Jeremy McGowan.
But, you know, we talk about some of the self-inflicted wounds. Just look at this 9th inning. Dalrymple hit by pitch, single by Spring, sacrifice by Knight, then a pass ball scores Dalrymple. Now you got to walk Schmitz. Now you got to walk Azell. And Azell took a swing at that. You don't see that very often. But Azell didn't think that ball was far enough outside. He wanted to slap one right through third and short. And now Troglia makes sure it's far enough outside.
Which, you know, since you miss it, it doesn't look as good. But if he hits one, you know, none of the infielders are getting ready. So if you even poke one pretty much anywhere but the pitcher's mound, because he's about the only one that's still playing, it's probably a game-winning hit there. So not a totally absurd play there, especially since it didn't look like the pitcher there was really wasn't throwing it very far outside.
The big play, I think, in this inning has to be Jacob Spring just trying to sacrifice Dalrymple down to second. And close call at first base. It went El Dorado's way. Well, they've had some calls go against them. That's what, you know, that's baseball. You're gonna get some, you're gonna not get some, and that one went their way. And this inning really turned around from that point.
Yeah, and I don't know if you're Haysville, I don't know if you can blame this game on that one call.
I don't think so either. Bases loaded. And the first pitch is a strike. Jeremy McGowan, 0 for 4 tonight. 2 strikeouts, 1 swinging, 1 looking. He grounded out to third, and he flew out to right center field.
All you need is a hit to right center field for this one.
Sacrifice fly would be enough. And the pitch is outside. Nice job by Lacayo to smother that one. Spring with good speed. The right fielder for El Dorado is down at third base. Jonathan Schmitz at second. Trevor Azell at first. McGowan at the plate with a 1-1 count. Devin Troglia on the mound. And Troglia's pitch is high. Ball 2. And now, Avery, a key pitch here. I know Troglia does not want to go 3-1. So this would seem to be, this is the action pitch if you're El Dorado's Jeremy McGowan.
I think if you're McGowan, you're sitting back ready to unleash on this one.
The pitch right down the middle, and that was the one. McGowan looked at it, and strike 2. Well, we both played some baseball. We watch a ton of baseball, but we're not experts. But we have a good idea of what counts and whatnot. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Troglia deals, and McGowan bounces one down to third. That's going to be a tough play, and El Dorado wins. Spring scores an infield single for Jeremy McGowan, of all players, and the Broncos come back down 7-2, and they score 6 runs in the last 2 innings, Avery, to pull this one out 8-7.
I don't know if you can think of a better way to, you know, start the season. First off, in the first inning, you come out with a bang and get 2 runs in the first inning. Then pretty lifeless through the 2nd through 7th inning. 8th inning comes around, and you get 4 runs, and then a walk-off hero tonight is Jeremy McGowan, as all the players, as you saw, stormed out there and congratulated him, and the Broncos 1-0.
You know, a lot of credit to El Dorado. We talk about some of the inflicted wounds from Hayesville, and you hope for their sake this isn't a microcosm or how this season's going to go for them. 2 close but losses to Valley Center to start off the season, and now here a game that Cody Shelton really, after a rough first inning, really dominated for Hayesville throwing the ball. Relievers and defense really let Hayesville down tonight.
And, you know, that was 2 major parts. But El Dorado looking now 1-0, and they'll have the vintage game tomorrow, but I'm sure that's almost like a day off. But and then we're back at it on Sunday against Denver, and we'll be here to bring it for you on Sunday night at 7 p.m.
Should be a lot of fun. For future games, we do hope maybe to gather some players. We'll have to figure out how we're going to do that. But I think for tonight, we may just try to recap this one, and because all the players, it looks like they're going to go out in the outfield, and as a lot of teams do, they're going to have their talk, and that's their time. And so, for El Dorado, I guess the hitting star tonight for El Dorado, is just looking just real quick, Avery, Jacob Spring, after he got off to an 0-for-3 night, base hits in the 8th inning, and of course the sacrifice that turned into a base hit for him in the 9th inning. But I thought Spring and Dalrymple were huge tonight, and Trevor Azell with some good at-bats as well for El Dorado here tonight.
Yeah, there was a lot of key players in there. Dalrymple had a good game to start off the season. Jacob Spring, and these are kind of their, I'm sure for them, easy to get up for because you're kind of wanting to impress new crowd, new team, new coaches, and they came out and showed what they have tonight and really led this team to their victory.
So 8-7, our final score. El Dorado wins it, and in the 9th inning, trying to think, Avery, they did not have. There was not a ball hit out of the infield as Dalrymple led off the 9th inning, getting hit by a pitch, a sacrifice by Spring that turns into a single because he beat it out, a sacrifice by Knight, a walk to Schmitz, a walk to Schmitz, and then a pass ball that scored Dalrymple. Then they were forced to walk Schmitz and Azell, and McGowan chops one between third and home, and really no chance for the third baseman Whitman there, and it turns into easy pickings for El Dorado. I mean, just so many good things happen when you put the bat on the ball.
Yeah, and that's the main thing is, like he said, just putting the bat on the ball and making the infielders work for the game. And El Dorado luckily pulled this one out and got some good base running and some smart base running. I almost pickoffs, those pickles. And I'd like to see the players, sometimes you just got to pick a base and just sprint to it, and hopefully you get there. And that's what they did a couple times, and they got there safely, which really ended up costing Hayesville the game, was not getting those couple outs on the pickle plays, and that was the main part of this in the 8th and 9th inning.
Winning pitcher tonight is Ryan McKay. The losing pitcher, Devin Troglia. Offensive hero for Hayesville had to be Carlson Weber. We saw Weber in his first 2 at-bats get a single and a grand slam, but then he went 4-6-3, 4-3, and 4-3 his last 3 at-bats, and that pretty much did it. So as we spin the camera around here on Avery and I, we certainly had a good time here tonight, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast as well, as the El Dorado Broncos win it here tonight by a score of 8-7. And again, the vintage game tomorrow night, Avery, followed by 2 games, non-league games with Denver, then a trip to Hayesville, and then back home here for the league opener against Derby on Wednesday night.
It's all kicking up, and like Doug said, we got a bunch of games. I know your parents, or if you're watching in Kansas, make your way out here. If you're just watching as a fan, make your way out here to McDonald Stadium, because there's some good baseball to be seen. And if you are watching from out of state, out of town, thank you for joining us, and we are happy to bring all of these El Dorado home baseball games to you this year, and we're happy to see your kids, grandkids, friends have success out here on the ball field.
Absolutely, well said. So that will wrap it up here for us here tonight. For Avery Osen, Kurt Caden bidding you good night from El Dorado. The Broncos win 8-7. We'll talk to you on Sunday night. Denver at El Dorado. We'll have the broadcast here. Until then, have a great rest of your weekend, everybody.